You are about to witness history in the making.
Hi everybody and welcome to the Pop Culture Gamers podcast. It's episode 37 and it's the 10th of February. We've had a week off, apologies for that. That's because I was down with the flu, but more of that later on. So my name's Hayden and I'm here as always with Steve. So hi Steve, how are you doing?
Okay, I'm here in the flesh after a bit of a traumatic time getting home one night.
Yes, our roaming news reporter for ITN.
I haven't watched it, to be honest, because I did 10. I just can't.
You never actually looked at your screen, you know. You were looking all over the place anyway, apart from what you thought.
That's all right. Look, it's my first time being a news reporter, you know what I mean?
I do, yeah. Anyway, so tell us about it then, Steve.
Yeah, so we had a freak snowstorm in the middle of the country. I was travelling from Farnborough back home to Christchurch on the coast, and got 19 miles into the journey and it stopped. Stuck on the motorway outside Basingstoke and the snow kept coming down. There was no snow at home. And it's just ridiculous. And I could see snow ploughs on the other side and no cars moving. And I'm hearing there's 3 jackknife lorries, motorways closed, people turning their cars off to save fuel. It's a bit crazy, to be honest. And
well, especially when it's in a snowdrift, turning your car off to save fuel, because then your car gets cold.
Well, exactly. I mean, luckily enough, I actually did fill up before the start of that journey. So I was able to keep mine on. But, yeah, it was just really weird. And the way that story goes is I put a tweet out on Twitter with a map saying I'm stuck here for the foreseeable future, with the motorway in a bit of chaos. And I had a message from an ITN news reporter. And she said, would you like to do a Skype chat for news at 10? And I went, yeah, all right, whatever.
As you do.
So, as you do. And I installed Skype on my phone. And it took a bit of a while to just know where to put it as far as she was concerned. But yeah, and the kids were texting me back saying, Dad, you're on the news at 10. Yeah, one of my brief moments of fame. I've done it a couple of times on TV, but hey, you know, don't shy at that too much. But yeah, it took me 9 hours to get home.
That's a heck of a long time. And you didn't have any food or drink, did you?
No, I was eating the snow off the side of the car because I was thirsty.
The big question is, did you miss the yellow snow?
I did. Well, it was on my actual wing mirror, so I was eating off of that.
But so, was it yellow? It doesn't stop people.
No, no, there was no one around there. They were all in their cars at the time.
Okay.
But yeah, that actual car journey was 9 hours. I didn't roll into 2 a.m.
Yeah. So
I had the whole evening stuck in that car. You know, I was feeling tired and thirsty and hungry, get irritable. Do you know what I mean? But hey ho, it is what it is. What else we got? Oh yeah, this week I had an email from Microsoft OneDrive saying that my account is going to be frozen and locked if I don't deal with this situation.
Right.
And I don't know about yourself, we all get a few deals with our phones for adding data size to the OneDrive account.
Yeah.
But the trouble is, all my deals I did have all run out. And I've got like 48 gig of data sitting there. I'm now only allowed 5.
Yes.
So I've got to go through it and take it off. Otherwise,
or pay monthly.
Or pay $7.99 a month, which they can swing on. So I don't know if anyone else has come up against that at all. But
yeah, I did have it a little while ago. But to be honest, I just dumped everything out of OneDrive and reorganised it.
Well, what I've done is I've turned off me syncing on my phone, first of all. First thing I did.
Yeah.
I need to spend some time transferring it to the PC in a folder somewhere, just to put it somewhere. But it's just a pain, really, because you don't think about that.
No.
It goes completely out of your head, and every time you buy a new phone, click to use your camera on OneDrive, and we'll give you another bit more data size, whatever, blah, blah, blah. But
yeah, I mean, what I don't understand is, because I used to have somewhere in the region, because they used to do all these offers, where if you did, if you introduced people to OneDrive, you got an extra, 2 gig or whatever. And mine was right up to 20 gig. By the time I'd done, all of these sort of things that they say, long service and all of this, that and the other, and they've knocked it down to 5, and I can't understand why. Why suddenly it's gone down to 5 from where it was. Because
all those deals were timed. They
never said they were timed, because there were like rewards for getting people involved in it.
Yeah. So same as me, I've got 41 gig, and I'm only allowed to have 5.
Well, I mean, one, for what it is, you only really need 5, don't you?
Well, I don't know. I've got 41 sitting there at the minute.
Yeah, but it will all be pictures, probably half of stuff which you'll never look at again.
Videos as well, and family photographs. But it's me.
Actually, I've got 15 gig.
There you go.
On mine.
Yeah,
and that's not a premium account. That's because of but it used to be 20, so I don't understand why it's gone down.
Yeah. So on my bottom left-hand corner, it says your OneDrive will be frozen. I'm 36.5 gig over. And you says here, take action to avoid losing access to your files on or after the 11th of the 5th, 2019. So I've got till May, but I'll have to deal with it quicker, sooner rather than later, because I will forget about it.
Well, USB drive and just dump it all on.
Well, yeah, I know. I've got a few. I've got a couple of SATA hard drives that I can actually just put into my caddy and maybe use one for that and just put them away then, and then just leave them on it. If I ever need to get onto them, I can always put it on. Yeah, last thing is Samsung this week have released a new software update for Android. And it's called Pi, which is the latest one. They like to use the sweet treats for the names. And this seemed to be a bit of a huge update from at least for 2 years ago. And must admit, there's a lot of UI tweaks I've noticed. Which for the Samsung, the Galaxy X9 is, in my case, 9 Plus. They've added Retina for your identification. All right. Okay. So you have a top of the box with 2 little circles. You put your eyes in that. It's just like Star Trek 2, isn't it? Do you remember? Yeah. And it opens your phone up. This tweaks to bits and pieces as well. They've introduced a better camera on it for software. They've updated and stuff and that. So just getting used to how to use it, to be honest. It's all right. And apparently it's been on the Note for a while. So this is probably going to be the base stand for the Galaxy 10 when that comes out later in the year. So, yeah.
I was watching, what do you call it, Linus Tech Tips. Do you ever watch that?
No, I don't think so.
It's quite a good. It's got his own company, but he releases a lot of videos. Yeah. On a day-to-day basis, all about IT and whatever. And they were doing one where it was discussing, the best features of the iPhone, or the top 10 reasons why to have an Android phone, and it was saying about being able to swap the interface around. I can't remember what it's called, Hub or whatever it is. And they were looking on it, and evidently one of the ones that you can download from the Play Store is a Microsoft interface.
Well, that's funny, isn't it? Because speaking of that, I don't know if we got it in the news, but isn't Xbox Live coming to the Switch?
It's coming to Android as well.
Yeah.
And iOS, I think. Basically, everything that's not Sony.
And Microsoft are taking over the world. Watch out, Sony, you're next.
Yeah, but you know what that'll mean? It'll be all of the fanboys will be turning around and saying, oh, well, there's nothing exclusive anymore, despite the fact that Sony are losing exclusives hand over fist, and half of the exclusives are already on PC anyway.
Yeah.
So,
yeah, it's just one of those things.
Really. You think about it, nowadays on Sony, because of PlayStation Live, that's basically on just about anything that you can get anyway. So it's no real difference in what they're doing.
No, do you know what? If everyone's happy to use it, all good, really.
Yeah, you play what system that you like. If you like the Sony ecosystem, you play that. You like Xbox, you play that.
Yeah.
You like PC, you play that. It's up to you, really.
Speaking of games, I did when they announced that the day for the beta to start for the Division 2,
which has already started.
Yeah, I did on the same day go into my hub and was able to request a code, which came yesterday. So I did download it. I haven't looked at it yet. So,
well, I've got some stuff to talk about that.
I don't think. Yeah, it'd be interesting to see what you think. I mean, whether I get to play or not, I don't know. It's like some other demos you try to play. They sometimes they're hard work.
I think if you don't play it today, then you won't.
It's from the 7th to the 12th, isn't it?
Well, you still don't have much time to do it. And you're off though, aren't you?
I'm off for 10 days, yeah.
Oh, yeah, you lucky thing. Very nice.
Yeah, I forgot about mentioning. Yeah, I'm on holiday now. Yes.
Yeah, okay.
So I'm just going to chill out at home, veg.
Were your light levels not going to go up on Destiny, seeing as that you're already at max light?
No, no. But I've been helping others to get their light levels up.
So have I.
But I haven't been back on for the last couple of days. But I say I'm not going to be talking Destiny this week.
No, there was me asking, and I need help with the Nightfall. Oh yeah, we'll be on the weekend.
Yeah, I haven't just had the chance yet. It's been busy.
What do you mean you haven't had the chance? You were playing Resi Evil.
Yeah, but that was important.
Fine.
But
now we know where I stand.
But as I say, I'll talk about that in a bit. So.
Okay.
What about yourself? Other than being sick, what have you been up to?
Well, not a lot because I have been sick. And what's really weird is that my wife's had flu as well. She's been off. And I had a flu jab.
Oh, I've got to quickly ask, has she got her voice back now?
Yeah. Yeah, she has. She only lost her voice for, like a day or so.
Yeah.
But it was bliss, although I did think I'd gone deaf at one point.
I must admit, when I spoke to her, she did sound very croaky.
Yeah. Yeah, well, I was sort of like 2 days behind her all of the way. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
With it. But she was, coughing and spluttering, and then obviously that's passed it on to me. So whether or not having the flu jab's given me like a lesser form of it, or it was a different strain than what I've been inoculated against, I don't know. But I've been off work as well. So, and it's just been weird because I've just not wanted to do stuff. It's absolutely debilitating, tiredness. I've never known anything like it.
Well, to be honest, I mean, just of late at night, I've been shattered for some reason.
Yeah.
And that's the way it goes sometimes.
Yeah, it is. So, anyway, other than that, one of the podcast groups which I subscribe to on Facebook, they call it a post, went on saying about somebody was doing a documentary.
Oh, that's right. Maybe mention about that. Yeah. Yeah.
So I thought, okay, that sounds quite interesting. And we're looking for people to, contribute to it, for some like stock footage, general interviews, that sort of thing. So I got in contact with them to find out a bit more about what it is that they were looking at. And anyway, they've sent us through, which is for me and for you if you want to do it.
Yeah, sure.
A list of questions that they want us to video ourselves answering, basically. And then we just send them the videos and then they'll incorporate that into the film. So it's going to be a short film, a documentary, which is going to be shown at indie film festivals and will be online later in the year. And they said if we contribute, then they'll give us an advanced viewing of it.
That'd be interesting.
Yeah. So
how do they want us to answer the questions? Would it be a good way of videoing each other, answering the question to each other, if you know what I mean?
I think that would be. We could maybe make something up. They weren't specific because I said when I contacted the person, I said, well, I'm interested. I don't know if my joint host's going to be interested as well, but I'll speak to him and then we'll, send you something.
Mm.
So I was like, yeah, that's fine. And he also said he'd come on the show and talk to us about the documentary as well, about, just general stuff about it when it's getting closer towards the release date.
Oh, okay.
So I thought that'd be quite good.
Yeah, something different. Get our faces on some sort of screen again.
Yeah, well, I'm not bothered about that. I just
no, but it's all about
really
promotion, isn't it? Yeah, it's all about...
yeah. We're doing it for nothing, but we have the advantage of it. Just gives us a bit of promotion in return.
Yeah,
I assume. And presumably putting on our titles and what podcasts it were from.
It could be in the credits. So. Oh
yeah, you'd be in the credits. Yeah. So. Yeah, I guess I'll be able to get my name on IMDb.
Do you reckon you're able to put a tick by put a tick on your Twitter to know you're the real person then,
Yeah,
just
the bucket list as well.
Yeah.
Be on IMDb. So yeah, that's, I think, but we've got to finish that before the end of this month. So links kind of to the other thing. And we haven't really talked about, we talked about it and then it kind of went away because of issues I was having, but the 22nd to the 24th of February this year is an annual event called Gameblast, and it's an event for the Special Effect charity. So this charity helped Microsoft to design the accessibility controller that they've now released.
Yeah.
And you'll see them at places like Insomnia and, the gaming festivals. And basically what they do is, they do assessments on people, identify what the best controller for them to be able to use is, help them get themselves set up. Even people who can't use a controller and, they only have like eye movement, they've actually got special software that will read where people are looking in order to be able to allow them to play games. Mm-hmm. I mean, it's not going to let them play Call of Duty, but it allows them to play things like Minecraft and stuff like that. Mm. And they do this for children and for adults. You don't have to have been born with a disability. It could be something because of an accident or illness. They'll still help you. And they also help out veterans as well who, have lost limbs and stuff like that, but still want to play video games. So I know it's not curing cancer or anything like that, but it is giving people a bit of happiness and giving them something that we enjoy doing and we take for granted on a day-to-day basis. And I just thought it'd be really good to try and support Gameblast this year, because I was looking at it last year and I didn't. And then I almost didn't this year because my son, he's trying to get his YouTube channel going and stuff like that, and it was like immediately, I want to be involved, and I said, well, no, and it just caused arguments because kids watch his channel. Do you know what I mean? They're not going to be donating to him.
No,
and I don't want him to be crushed if he doesn't earn anything. For me, if I earn like a tenner out of it, for the whole weekend of work, that's fine. That's just life, but in terms of him, I think it'd be quite crushing and demoralising. So I had to say, well, no, I'm not going to pull out of doing it because it can only be me doing this because it's just not the right time for him because he's only young.
Mm.
And then anyway, we've managed to get him to do something slightly different, which he's quite happy with. So I said, right, okay, well, I'll bring it back to the forefront. So anyway, this is happening in 2 weeks' time. So in order to support this, there's a Just Giving page. So if you look for Pop Culture Gamers on Just Giving, it'll be on the show notes as well on here, and he'll also post and tweet it. I have actually already got some donations on there as well.
Oh, good.
Yeah, I've got a couple of donations, and also I reached out to another podcast, the Midlife Gamer podcast, to Matthew Moore, who's also a member of our group.
Yeah, because he likes to do that sort of thing. He gets involved in some charities, doesn't he, sometimes?
He does indeed. So I spoke to Matthew. We had a long conversation over Facebook the other day, and I just said, because obviously in Facebook terms, people don't like self-promoting in other groups. So,
No,
it's like...
It feels awkward, doesn't it?
Yeah, well, it's generally against the rules because, if I made a video, I can't go into the Midlife Gamer community and paste it in there because it's against their rules, self-promotion. But, for example, you could go in and do it if I've done a video and it's not Pop Culture Gamers. Do you know what I mean? It's just assigned to me. It's a weird kind of rule.
Yeah, because, I mean, if you've got your own Facebook timeline, you can do it there. You can do what you want in that.
Yeah, yeah. And there are other groups that do allow us to do it, like We Are Gamers.
Yeah.
So, on that group, I'll go in and I'll tell them the next show's open. Just uploaded and stuff like that. And then they'll be able to, see it from there. And they're quite happy with that. But that's an arrangement that, I've spoken to Mark and Gavin who, run that, and they're quite happy with that.
They're quite easy going about that sort of stuff.
Yeah, they are. And to be honest, generally speaking, we are as well in terms of our group, our Facebook group. But like I said, some groups aren't, and I have to respect, their thing. So anyway, I spoke to Matthew, and he's actually, bless him, he's one of the people who's actually donated. So thank you, Matthew. Really appreciate that. But he also said that he'd promote it through the Midlife Gamer group as well, because I don't think that they're doing anything. And obviously I've said that if they're doing anything, we'll do likewise. And there's a possibility, because Matthew's just building his PC. And Matthew said if I was doing any PC gaming, he might hop on and, come and support it as well. So that'll be good. Bit of cross podcasting.
Yeah, I think it's a good idea.
Yeah. So really, it's up to you whether or not you want to be involved in what you're doing.
Well,
we had said we were going to do something, didn't we?
Yeah, we still can in an evening. It'd be late evenings, can't we? That's not a problem. And, I mean, I think, do you remember seeing Nicky talking about Resident Evil 5?
Yes.
So he could do some of that as much as I could do some of that to get that you with the story.
Yeah.
I mean?
And I'd be happy with that as well. One of the things, in terms of it, I was thinking, I know exactly what you'll want to play. You'll want to play Destiny.
Of course.
So what I thought was, if you're up for it, we could do a stream on a night when we would naturally play.
That's fine. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, and do it sort of like that. But I'm also looking at other games because Anthem's released then. So I thought I might stream Anthem from the start.
Because we've both got EA access?
No, I'm going to buy it.
Are you? So anyway, I get the first 10 hours of that.
Yeah. So we could do that. I've also got Far Cry.
I don't think Anthem's going to have any PvP in that, is it? It's not going to be
No, it's PvE, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, whether or not you can still...
You'll be able to do co-op, because that's part of the game, isn't it?
Yeah, I suppose so, yeah.
Yeah. So, there's Anthem. I've been trying to draw up a list and trying to figure out what people...
What about Apex? I mean, I don't know much about the game. I've only downloaded it. It might not be my cup of tea.
It's a possibility. Because
there you can have a 4-man team for that, can't you?
Yeah, exactly. But you could do a raid on Destiny. If we could get enough people who are interested, someone who's been through the raid before, to help us through, we could maybe do the raid as a live stream.
Yeah, possibly. Maybe there's something like the Leviathan, because that now is... The light level for that is quite low. Yeah,
and for a start off, we've got, 2 people that we've been helping out this week to get the light level up, and Chris is actually higher light level than me now.
I know, that's quite ironic, isn't it? and I know his friend's only on at weekend, but his mates bought it as well, isn't he? So he's got his friends.
Yeah, exactly. But, so I think the games I'm looking at the moment are Anthem, Destiny 2. I thought, because what I was considering, do I do this as like an 18 or a 24-hour broadcast, or do I do it a little bit different and actually sort of do 2-hour segments, or roughly?
Well, it depends in chunks. It depends on time and how you can fit it in, basically, isn't it, with everyone and yourself? Yeah,
well, that's the other thing, because 24 hours. is a long time. Do you know what I mean?
9 hours in a car was a long time.
Yeah,
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly. So my thought here is, I thought I'd start off with Anthem. And then, because I know on a Friday night, my wife takes my son out to go and do stuff. So from 7 o'clock, I could, do a couple of hours on Anthem, have a bit of a break when they come back, say hello. 10 o'clock, get back on, do Destiny 2 until I fall unconscious.
Well, yeah, I could be on around sort of 10ish, 10:30 myself on a Friday.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm not on call that week anyway, so I'm not on call till end of February, beginning of March.
Yeah, that's
so that won't be in the way.
Yeah, and then I thought I would do on Saturday afternoons. I'm generally free, so I was looking at Far Cry New Dawn on the PC. From about 1 o'clock, and then a bit more Anthem from 3 o'clock. Maybe do a bit of Assassin's Creed Odyssey about 7 on the Saturday, and then back to Destiny 2 for the end of the day. And then maybe doing a bit of Just Cause on the Sunday, Just Cause 4. And then, obviously, we've been talking as well about if we can get it set up technically, maybe a live broadcast.
Yeah, we'll have to do a little test with laptops, I think.
Yeah.
I mean, I've done it before with a laptop, to be honest, anyway, so it shouldn't be an issue.
Yes, and I'm not, because what we can do is we can have Skype on a side-by-side sort of basis, and I can broadcast it like that. That's one alternative. Or we could maybe use Google Hangouts and whatever, and I thought it might be interesting. We could have maybe live questions, stuff like that in there as well.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm just throwing about ideas at the moment.
I mean, I'm sure something will become a bit more solid later on.
Yeah, well, we've got a week to figure it out, or 2 weeks to figure it out. So, but that's kind of where I'm at the moment, but I'm looking for ideas. So, I'm be quite happy to, if Nikki wants to and other people would be interested, doing a live stream with Nikki on Resident Evil 5 and cutting away through that. I'm sorry, Quan, I'm not interested in doing Dark Souls in the slightest, or Euro Bus Simulator or whatever it was that the other one you suggested was. Not my kind of games at all, although I do have Dark Souls, to be fair.
Yeah, but you say Resident Evil 5 is a good one that different people can hop on as your co-op partner, depending how far you get with the story. Yeah.
But I mean, I suppose really what I want is, I'm trying to keep the games a bit as new as I can, but maybe with the possibility of 1 or 2 people might be able to hop on, and other ones maybe watch for tips or, whatever. I mean, I was considering like The Division, but I thought that's a bit of an older game now. People have seen that to death, probably.
Yeah. But sometimes, I'm not saying retro, but I mean, with how much Resident Evil 2 has got a lot of press and a lot of love over the last few weeks, and I mean, it's had 3 million copies sold.
Yeah.
So that's sort of on the back of that for Resident Evil 5 will get people to look at that as an idea that maybe a game they haven't tried, that they might want to give that a go. I know Resident Evil 2 is much better, but it's worth a play.
Yeah, and I'd like to have another go through that campaign, because I've only ever done it once, and it took me about 5 years. But yeah, so I think that doing it in that sort of way, that little compartmentalized sort of sections with different games will give people, I know that the idea is that you can do like a 24-hour challenge, but I just want to make it a bit more sort of like entertaining. And, I do have a family life. I'd be happy to do the 24-hour challenge, but it's sort of like the pressure you put on the family.
It's not easy to do. I mean, if you're a single guy in your own little place and you could just do that, that's fine. But when you got families, it's not easy. And I think people would understand that anyway.
Yeah, I mean, to be honest, I'm still looking at probably about 18 hours in terms of broadcasting time, which is what my original thought was. Over 3 days, yeah.
Yeah, exactly, yeah.
Yeah. So, Anyway, if you are interested, I will be posting more details as I try and finalise them. It's sort of like I only really made the decision, right, I'm going to do it yesterday. And that was sort of like midway through the evening kind of thing.
Just popped into your head, did it?
It did. I thought, I was going to do that. Right, time to set it off because I'm not getting anywhere with it. Much to the surprise of my wife when I came back and said, you know, I talked to you about that Gameblast. I'm going to go and do it. When is it? In 2 weeks' time. We'll take up the whole weekend.
She'll forget and say, oh, this week, really?
She will. She will. And in matter of fact, it'll get to the end of the Friday. She's, what, it's still going on? Yeah. I know what she's like. But anyway, so that's me for this week in terms of what I've been sort of like doing or planning. So shall we move on to gaming this week?
Yep.
No longer a dream, but a reality.
Okay, so gaming this week, and we've got a couple of bits of news for you. First off, Assassin's Creed Odyssey update. So this game's been out for a little while now, and absolutely fantastic it is. But Ubisoft, for those of us who have completed the game and wanting a bit more of a challenge, has announced a new Game Plus mode is coming to Assassin's Creed. The mode is scheduled for release at the end of February, but an exact date hasn't yet been provided to us. And also there's been the information in terms of New Game Plus is pretty vague. It's not known if you'll restart as the protagonist you didn't get to play or the one that you did play again, and whether or not you'll keep things like your lieutenants, your ships, your weapons, all of that sort of stuff, but it will reset the whole game for you to be able to play. Also, the third and final episode of the first major story expansion for Assassin's Creed Odyssey, titled The First Blade, is also scheduled for release in the next couple of months. And then next month, there is the Assassin's Creed 3 remastered version, which takes it all up to 4K, whatever. And anybody who's got the season pass for Assassin's Creed will automatically get Assassin's Creed 3 and Assassin's Creed 3 Liberation. So, a few good things there for Assassin's Creed, I think.
Very good.
Do you want to tell us about Apex Legends?
Yeah, so this dropped sort of out of nowhere, didn't it, really? People were thinking something was going to be released and chatted about it, but come Monday, Apex Legends was released with some videos and some streaming. It's funny because it's broken Fortnite's record with 10 million players in 72 hours.
Yeah.
And it's reached 1 million players within 8 hours of launch and 2.5 million within 1 day.
Fantastic going, that.
Which is
obviously really accelerated the next couple of days.
I've looked at some of the videos of some of the streaming, and it looks better than personally for me, it looks better graphically than Fortnite does, because Fortnite does look a bit too
cartoony.
It does.
Yeah.
But that's the way they roll with it. But interesting to give it a go. It's all free. It's there on your Xbox and your PlayStation and PC to download. There are some packs to pay for coins.
As there always are.
As if you want to, but you can still earn coins in the game, so you're not feeling left out.
Yeah. What we should also say is that this is like a spiritual successor to Titanfall, isn't it?
Well, it's by Respawn, isn't it?
Yeah.
And people were saying, oh, we're going to get Titans in this, but no, it's not. It's just your players. But you never know. I mean, I don't think Titanfall 3 will be anytime soon now because they're concentrating on this.
Yeah.
But then there's talk of another new IP, but that's just talk at the minute. But yeah, it's interesting to see that, again, more of these sort of games are coming out.
Well, yeah, I mean, there's Warframe as well, isn't there? I played that recently. Not for long, but it was an interesting...
10 minutes.
No, I was on it for a couple of hours.
Yeah.
Did the first few kind of missions. That's a bit more sort of a different kind of universe to Destiny, but Destiny-esque from what I was looking at. But I have a feeling that the bubble's going to burst on these sort of games. At some point.
Yeah, because you've got there's Call of Duty and Battlefield and all these sort of games that are bringing this sort of stuff out. But yeah, it could be overkill at one point, and then something new will come along, and that'll move on.
I have to admit, the other day when I was playing with Chris and his friend, we were talking about like Fortnite, and about the dances, and people saying, "Oh, isn't it amazing how Fortnite has permeated the culture because they did they were the first to do the dances in games." Destiny was doing it way before Fortnite.
Well, it was.
They copied Destiny, and I'm sure Destiny probably copied somewhere else.
Well, you had some dances there which probably
are exactly the same.
Were pinched. I mean, the Colton dance for one example. From Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. But yeah, but I mean, you're hearing these stories of people suing them Fortnite for some of these dances.
That's ridiculous, isn't it?
But it's crazy that the main common dance you've seen in Fortnite, you can't get away from it.
No.
I mean, I saw a tweet from the guys in the good life, not good life. Sorry, you know what I mean.
Terry and June.
Yeah, Terry and June. Well, but Leslie June was just passed away. I don't think she would have been doing it.
No.
But with the Netflix show, and Ted Danson was doing it, was being taught how to do it by the rest of the cast. You think, God, give it a break. And then you see it on other
The Good Place.
Stuff. Good Place, thank you.
Yeah.
So it gets sort of creeps around everywhere.
It does. It's football,
and it's soap operas anywhere,
Yeah. I mean, it's like, I was watching something where it was saying, about footballers doing the Fortnite dances on TV, when they score a goal or whatever. It's quite obvious why they're doing that. It's because they know kids like Fortnite, and they know that kids buy things like sticker packs and T-shirts and whatever, and support the clubs. And the parents will like it because it's, making the kids happy sort of thing. That's why they do it. Otherwise, would they really want to look so stupid? Mind you, to be honest, I could be on £100,000 a week and do stupid things and be quite happy and laugh at everybody else.
Yeah, no, that's it. I know, but it's society's changing in so many different ways over the last 10 years.
Yeah,
it is ridiculous. The way, obviously, there's some ways with political correctness has gone bonkers, and just all sorts. It's just crazy. But then social media has really grasped everything that what we didn't have 10, 15 years ago. Now you can't not walk in a street without someone with a phone videoing something or sitting there doing a selfie.
Yeah, or some guy stuck on the motorway telling the news about it.
Hey, that was slightly different. Yeah.
So you walked right into that one. That was so funny.
But it is, isn't it? The world we live in is now bonkers with a capital B at the moment.
Oh,
and I don't agree with all of it, and I'm not here to air my views because this is not what this show's all about. But you know what I mean? It's just.
Well, actually, it is. It's about popular culture, and the whole PC thing is.
It is, but some of it can get you into trouble. You can't breathe on Twitter if someone makes a comment. It's out there for life, and some people have got into trouble for that.
Oh, I agree. I mean, at the end of the day, I think people, the PC or the social warriors, because that's what. They're the problem. It used to be the PC people, but now it's the social warriors.
Yeah.
And nowadays, it's just, it is utterly ridiculous. There's always somebody upset about something. And to be honest, it doesn't matter what way you cut the pie. Everybody is in a minority in one respect or another. Granted, guys like us, white males, are in most of the time a majority in this country, supposedly. But when you actually look at the world, we're actually in a minority. I mean, I did this online thing that sort of like put you, about where you are in terms of world population. And it's like the sort of like white, married with a child, with a job guy, represented something like 1.5% of the whole of the population of the planet. So I'm in a minority. If you cut a pie in whatever direction, eventually you'll get a minority. You might have to put a load of caveats in that on, but that's the point. And it's where it just, it just gets ridiculous.
Well,
that's the problem.
we've had the stuff with Jeremy Clarkson of late, and what his comments were.
Yeah.
You see, you got. I mean, a celebrity these days has got to be so careful in what they say because the whole world is listening in different forms. We were
debating whether or not to talk about it, but Liam Neeson.
God, yeah. I mean, I when I first looked, I think I was at work having my lunch, and I thought, what's this all about? It just popped up. So I started looking back over a couple of daytime chat shows that were on discussing this. There was a couple from America and a couple from the UK. And it's blown out of proportion in a huge way. And there's people here that are up in arms. And I'm thinking, oh my God, I feel sorry for Liam Neeson. He tried to say his thoughts on how he was trying to bring a character together for his latest movie, and then using the scenario where he lost a friend.
No, a friend was raped.
Yeah, sorry. Yeah, it was raped, and it was many, many years ago. And he regrets his thoughts, but he opened up about them. And where some people would say feel sorry for that sort of scenario, it went the other way completely. And there's people now up in arms. And
yeah, well, because evidently he was on record as saying when it was raped, he'd asked the question of, was the person black or something?
But that was asking whether it was black or Caucasian. That was not saying one specific, just, tall, short, white, yellow, do you know what I mean, or whatever.
No, but it's the social justice warrior then jumped on it and said, well, how dare you just assume immediately that it was black? You said, were they black, were they white, were they Chinese, Oriental, or what, what were they? Was a male, with a female, whatever.
They could have been green, they could have been blue, pink, green, yellow, whatever,
But I'm not supporting Liam Neeson because, it's wrong to want to walk around a place and find somebody who fits a criteria of somebody who's done harm to somebody to then want to kill them. That's a bit, that's sort of like psychotic. So, what you got to remember is this was a long time ago. He was young, and where he grew up in Ireland, there was a lot of trouble. And violence was quite a way, I understand.
And I don't think a lot of people see. Obviously, being a teenager in the 80s, remember the trials, tribulations of Northern Ireland.
Oh, so do I. Yeah.
With we had the bombing, we had that Nell bombing in Hyde Park with all the horses parade and all that sort of stuff. It went on, and it's just horrendous.
Well, I was stuck in London once. I'd been to the Bank of England, and I had to get across London to get to King's Cross, and the tube got cancelled on the line that I was on because there was a bomb threat from the IRA. It's like the world was completely different then. That's not to say it was right, and it's not to say it was wrong. It's just a matter of fact, it was a different world.
Yeah.
And, what he said in terms of what he said, I was wandering around and I was wanting to kill someone, whatever. That is just mental. But I think what he was trying to portray was he was so angry and he didn't know what direction to put it. But instead of saying it eloquently, I think it came out a mess. Or on the other hand, it could have just been a bit of a PR stunt in being told, say this story, it'll give you an image of being a hard man, and it's a similar story to what the film's about. And I do wonder whether or not that this is a PR stunt that's gone wrong. Yeah,
maybe.
But that's me being sceptical.
Yeah, but I mean, we'll see. I mean, different people look at it in different ways. I mean, even my wife said, "Well, it looks like everyone's going to boycott the movie now." I said, "Well, I don't know. I really don't. I can't really judge that."
Yeah.
Anyway.
Just one other thing I would say, not about him, but I think that what social justice warriors get wrong is it should be about respect for people, respecting people's circumstances, respecting their views, and also leveling the playing field so that everybody has the same level of advantage. And, and in a way, that's sort of like what the special effect charity's about in terms of, for gaming, letting people do that as well. And that, and that's why I think stuff like that is important. But going too far, the social justice warrior route, that's where it annoys me personally. But there you go.
Yeah.
Anyway, how the hell did we get onto that from
I don't know. But anyway, should we crack on?
Yeah, let's crack on because we went on a complete detour. Sorry about that, folks. Right, so new releases. So, in terms of new releases this week, all on the 15th, we've got Amiibo Ice Climbers, Amiibo Kinke Rule, Amiibo Piranha Plant. We've got Code Realize Wintertide Miracles on the PS4. We've got Crackdown 3 on the Xbox One and PC.
15th,
Far Cry.
Yes.
Yeah, Far Cry New Dawn on the PS4, Xbox One and PC. Jump Force on the aforementioned PS4, Xbox One and PC. And Metro Exodus on the PS4, Xbox One and PC. So what's our video game charts look like?
Okay, so at 5 we have Call of Duty Black Ops 4. At 4 we have FIFA 19. Red Dead Redemption at 3. Resident Evil 2 at 2. And Kingdom Hearts in at 1, which is no surprise for the people that love that game.
No, exactly.
I wouldn't mind trying it maybe later in the year.
When it's come down.
Yeah, because at the moment, cash for games is a bit slow, but I've got quite a few to play now at the moment, and especially with those on the actual Microsoft's Netflix idea. I can play a few more off that, which is pretty good. And with EA Access as well, so get to give them a bit of an idea of what they're like.
Yeah. Okay, so subscription games then. We've got Games with Gold. We've got Bloodstained Curse of the Moon, available all the way through February, which I played for about 20 minutes, and that was about as much as I could stomach of it. I think it's awful. It's like a high-bit kind of game.
Yeah?
Yeah, it was rubbish. Super Bomberman R is available on the Xbox One from the 16th of February.
Yeah, I'm interested in that, must admit.
Yeah. We've got Assassin's Creed Rogue, which is available on Xbox One and 360 up until the 15th. Mm-hmm. And that was the Assassin's Creed one that came in after Black Flag and was exclusive to the previous gen.
That's right, because that came out at the same time.
Yeah. There is Sorry, go on.
I just remember seeing it when I went to the games convention that year.
Yeah.
And I saw it then. I did play a little bit actually at the time.
Yeah.
Just admit. So it looks quite good.
It is, because it's sort of like about the dark horse in the Assassin's order as well. You know, it's like someone who goes against the order and more sides with, the Templars. Mm. So it's quite enjoyable from what I've played of it. It's one I've not completed.
No.
And then the last one, available 16th of Feb for the Xbox One and 360, is Star Wars Jedi Knight Jedi Academy.
I don't even remember that one. I know that's from the original X, as we say, but...
It's a good game, actually, is Jedi Knight Jedi Academy. Mm. It was... If I remember right, well, it was obviously the successor to Jedi Knight, which in turn was like a follow-up to Dark Forces, going way, way, way back. Sort of like Wolfenstein almost sort of era. But I used to quite like Jedi Knight games, and it's about a completely separate, different Jedi, but in the start, in the Empire kind of ruling. So it's after. After the attack, Revenge of the Sith sort of time frame. But not a bad game if you like the older sort of ones. Do you want to do PlayStation Plus?
Yeah, so PS4 we got For Honor.
Yeah.
Which I think was already out on the Xbox as well, wasn't it?
It was. I think it was last month or the month before. Have you ever played that?
No, I've downloaded it on the Xbox. So
it looks fantastic, but I just think it fights like a dog's dinner.
Okay. So we got one that I probably will download on the PlayStation Plus, Hitman: The Complete First Season.
You should do, because I think you will enjoy that, you know.
Well, I used to play them back in the day, but I just sort of got, I don't know.
And you know that it's also on Game Pass as well.
Okay. I'll definitely have a look. Now, PS3, don't have one of them anymore. Metal Gear Solid 4 Guns of Patriots.
Yeah.
And we got Dave Kick, which is a cross-buy with the PS Vita. Also,
when did you have a PS3? Because you said, I don't have one of those anymore.
I think I did. I think at one point, maybe I had it briefly, but maybe I'm getting mixed up, but it doesn't matter.
Okay,
anyway, that's by the by. I don't think anyone cares anyway, but
no.
PS Vita, we got Rogue Aces, which is cross-buy with the PS4, and Gunhouse, which is also cross-buy with the PS4.
Fair enough.
What about Twitch, Bear? What we got on there?
Twitch, we got Pikaniku, Dear Esther Landmark Edition, Downwell, The Flame in the Flood, which people really rave over, but it wasn't my sort of thing. I think it's like a survival indie game. Draknek and Co. Puzzle Collection, and additional goodies for PUBG, Warframe, and Overwatch and other titles. So a few games that are actually there, and I think as well there's a Final Fantasy 14. Some reason seems to come into my head that's been offered as well. I'll need to double check that. But so I think it's been a really poor month this month for, you know, anything Games with Gold or Plus, apart from Hitman, which I'd already had anyway. Final Fantasy Online 14 Starter Edition is free on Twitch as well.
Yeah.
But so some pretty poor games. So what have you been playing, Steve?
Well, I've been playing one game. Well, actually, I've been playing two, as you know. I've been playing Destiny, and we've been playing with some friends, and they bolstering their levels up so they can get to the max level. But really, it's all about Resident Evil 2. Now, I did stop for a little while on the game. I got sort of probably a fair way into the game. I think I got to out of the police station.
Yeah.
Anyway, I've completed it. Yeah, as they say.
So you actually did the boss battle?
I did the boss battle this morning.
Right. Okay. Because you played it last night.
I was, and I was. Let's put it this way: for the last half of the game, now I'm playing this on standard mode.
Yeah.
Not assist, which is easy with more health and less bullets to kill the creatures.
Yeah.
And at one point in the game, I was getting to a point where I was sort of always limping around with a low health.
Yeah.
But I persevered, and when I reached what we call the nest, which, if you remember the movies, it was called the Hive, as we were chatting about the other day.
Yeah.
Completed all of that without giving the story away, because I know this game is actually 20 years old, believe it or not. And it comes to the battle boss at the end. Now, I won't say what happens and who's the boss, but I was doing this part of the game, and I was just short on health and short on bullets, because I would get so far. I was timing the scenario of when he was attacking me and how I was able to dodge and sort of counteract, waiting for a certain point in the game where the cutscene would kick in.
Yeah.
And I ended up going back on a game save into the nest and looking for some more health spray, and then replaying that last section of the scenario, what leads you to the big boss at the end.
Mm-hmm.
And I finished that this afternoon.
And good.
So what I've done is, and I spoke to Nikki about this because I weren't sure which way to play this, because I am going to play the game 4 times. Yeah,
because you've got to do scenario A and scenario B for both characters, haven't you?
Exactly. So So I finished and got a level C with my score for Leon.
Yeah.
So what I've done now is I'm now playing Claire new game.
Yeah.
But I did open Claire's second scenario, which I won't touch yet because I've done Leon. I'll go to Claire. Once I play Claire new game, that should open up Leon second.
Yeah.
And then play Claire second. So that'd be the 4 ways to play it. I have got it to hand, but there is DLC coming out this week.
And it's free DLC for Resident Evil as well, isn't it?
It is, isn't it? Yeah. I think it's more story.
Yeah.
So that'd be pretty cool. I've got to say that the game's fantastic. It's so far, in my head, the game of the year. I know we're only in February, but I just love this to bits. And I adore the original Resident Evil 2. The franchise I just really adore. And it just played so well.
Uh-huh.
Now, luckily, to be honest, I had a few game saves that I could manage that if I hadn't, I would have probably been screwed and had to go further back. But because I was playing on standard, it was a bit more tough. Now, a lot of people that were playing this, I think, were playing probably assisted for their reviews and also for the streams they were doing.
Mm-hmm.
Because it did get a bit tough, mustn't lie, but the achievements don't matter. So what I've done is, because of the way the story is going to go with the second part in the first run with Claire, I've now dropped that down to assist.
So you can get through it quicker.
Yes, but there's going to be, I spoke to Nicky and it is going to be a little bit tougher if I left it on standard. And a certain character will be a bit more earlier in the game running around trying to chase you. So I think that's the way to go, to be honest.
Yeah.
And I had a funny little glitch, because we'll probably mention yours. I started Claire, got to the police station, played the first part, and went to save the game, and it just hung.
Mm.
But it didn't save, so it's gone back to the part in the demo where you've got to save the guy under the roller shutter door. Or in this case, just pull him out in half.
Right, okay. So that's not very far into the story there, is it?
No, so it doesn't really matter. And I've realised that because what you want to get is, if you can get a S rating,
yeah,
you can get unlimited ammo for some of your weapons.
Yeah, which to me, this is something I struggle with, because if you're good enough to get an S rating, which means you've got to get it in like under 3 hours and hardly using any ammo or any health packs or whatever, you don't actually need an unlimited gun.
Well, it's just the way they played it, the way they do the games. I mean, must admit, when I finished Resident Evil 7, that gave me an unlimited gun of some kind.
Yeah.
You know, but by the by, it's a great story, and I'm just loving it to bits. It's just fantastic.
Yeah. Well, I have to admit, I'm a bit disillusioned with it. For the simple reason that my game save corrupted. And what it's done
That's because you're on a PC, isn't it?
Possibly. But what it's done is it's kept some elements from the game, from where I'd got to.
Yeah.
And some elements that hadn't. So, because I remember where it put me back. I remember where I was in there. Yeah. The only problem is that some puzzles have been completed that I actually did later, and other ones that I'd done at that point haven't been done.
So this is what you wouldn't get with a console. I know. It's when you get corrupted files, it can go really pear-shaped. And
it has. And it is just so really incredibly weird, to be honest, having this situation, because it's sort of like, it's like someone's come on my PC, played the game on my account, like my old version, played the game on my account, played it differently, and then left it, about an hour behind where I was. So I'm sort of like having to try and backtrack now, and it's doing my head in.
Why didn't you, I don't know if you could start afresh.
I could possibly, but I just don't have the willpower to do it.
But to do that, what I would do is I would then... Who did you start with? Leon?
Yeah.
Delete the game save, start afresh with Claire, put it on assist to make it a bit easier, and just go through it. I mean, I think some of the puzzles are slightly different with Claire anyway.
Yeah, but I mean, the thing is, I don't need it on assist because I was doing all right.
No, what I mean is this is because of time frame, and you don't want to... I don't know how many hours you put in it at this point.
I'll be able to tell you in a second.
It's a real shame because it's a fantastic
5
game.
hours.
Yeah. And it is a brilliant game, and I tell you, it's awesome. It's really good. I'm thoroughly enjoying the experience.
Yeah.
And this one you will miss out on.
Yeah, it's just really sort of like hacked me off with the game a little bit.
Sounds like a Bethesda moment.
Yes, it does actually.
Because you had the same thing happen to you there, didn't you? But
no, in Bethesda, I didn't have that. What
well,
I had was getting stuck in the scenery.
What I mean is you had a moment which was out of your hands.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? So this, compared to a corrupt file, you had a corrupt game.
Yeah,
Bethesda,
basically.
But yeah, it's really one to finish. I think there's a fantastic story. I mean, graphically as well, it's great watching that story unfold.
Yes.
And obviously, what is nice that with the Claire scenario, they've added a new bit of content that wasn't in the original game.
Yeah.
Very brief, but it'd be interesting to see what that's like when that comes into play. But yeah, I'm loving it, and I might even pop back on tonight if no one's around.
Well, why not?
So, what about yourself? So, what have you been up to?
What have I been up to?
Yeah, or what haven't you been up to being ill? But yeah, the Division 2 beta, you've been playing, haven't you? So
yeah, I've been playing that on the Xbox One X, and it looks absolutely fantastic. To be honest, if I was to really describe it, it's the Division, because it is. It's just a Division in summertime in Washington.
Yeah.
You know, obviously different sort of scenarios. Some of the menu screens are different and things like that, but effectively speaking, this thing, to me, it feels very similar to the previous version, which is not necessarily a bad thing.
Yeah.
You know, because apart from what I always complain about, it was a good game. But that's it really. It's the environments are a lot more luscious because Washington has been overgrown with stuff, and there's cars all over the place, and that, just like in New York City, it was like that. You start off right at the beginning of the game. You've got to get to the White House, which half of the back of the White House is off, and there's like marauders in between you and the White House, and you've got to get there, and you build up elements of the White House. But where it seems to be slightly different this time is this automatic upgrading that goes on with the outhouses. The local environments, local hubs that you can go to. They automatically get upgraded as well. So there's several of them on the map. The weapons seem pretty much the same sort of weapons, M16 and all that kind of stuff. There's nothing that I've come across like, laser guns or anything like that, because it's just not in that keeping of that sort of game. You've got all of the same sort of options about, having like holsters and masks and knee pads and, loads of different options for customizing your character like that. It seems to be a little bit more simplified in terms of working out what your combat level is, in terms of, your scorings.
How about actually, a lot of the weapons were not complicated, but there was a lot of bits and pieces in there that you had to play with. Have they simplified the idea of that?
No, I wouldn't say so, because I think you can, excuse me, still have the add-ons. but I haven't really ventured into that. But it looked to be pretty much the same. But there are other options, like, for example, you can have a drone that will follow you about and shoot at people. The voice acting and all that all seems really quite good from the way that it plays. Be interesting to see if the speaker on the PlayStation controller is still being used the same way as it was on the Division 1. But obviously I was on Xbox, so I didn't try that.
Yeah.
But I think if you like the Division, you're going to like this just as much. You know, it plays really nice, really slick. But personally, I like playing the Division on the PC much more than I did on the consoles. And that's because of the keyboard and mouse. I think it lends itself a lot more to that sort of game.
Yeah, I can see that.
Yeah. So that's a Division beta. You know, looking forward to when it gets released, and we'll be getting that game. Next game I've been playing has been Sniper Elite 4. So most of this was playing it last night, to be honest.
Is this the one with... I'm trying to think of the last one I played. It must have been 4, surely.
Well, this one's one on the Game Pass at the moment.
Okay.
But it's a series of Second World War sniper games. So, you know, you play a character who goes behind enemy lines and shoots people, and if you get good shots, then it goes to an X-ray vision of, you know, the damage that you're doing to the person. You can get testicle shots and bowel shots and heart shots.
That's it. Well, I remember the kill cam shots. They're so fantastic.
Yeah.
It never gets old.
No, it doesn't. It doesn't. And that's one of the reasons why I love this game as well. So, I've got this on PC and Xbox One X because obviously it's on Game Pass. But I decided to play it on the Xbox One. I don't know why, because, again, keyboard and mouse would be better for this. But what I do like about this game is the sort of tactical aspects to the game. So there are things that in the environment, like planes flying over, if you shoot while a plane is flying over, then you won't get detected. Because if you start shooting people, popping them off, then the sound will triangulate and identify where you are and then come and attack you. And they'll sneak up behind you and stuff like that. So, you know, I was having a nice little, the first time that I played it, a nice little sat in this sniper nest, picking off all these people, only for somebody to climb up a ladder behind me and machine gun me. Fortunately, I did turn round in time and I shot him. But fortunately, I shot him on the grenade that was on his chest, you know, on, like his harness on his chest, which then blew up and killed me. So you can do like daft things like that, but you can also like blow up vehicles by shooting them in the gas tank and stuff like that. There's lots and lots to the game. You can customize sort of like skills and perks that are available in the game. So you earn different sort of ranks the more that you play the game. The higher your rank goes up, that then unlocks stars. The stars you can then use to buy certain perks, such as a faster recovery of heart rate. So obviously one of the things that you will do is if you're doing like a really long distance shot, you will stop breathing while you're doing the final bit of aim at the shot, and then it'll come up with a little diamond that you then match up with where your target is, and then it'll turn red, say that it's got a kill shot, and then you fire, and then, you know, it'll probably go onto the cam where it shows you the bullet flying across and then intersecting the body and seeing the spine shatter as it goes through the eyeball socket and stuff.
I thought I'd played this game. Now, I have played Sniper Elite 3. So I'm looking at my achievements in the game. Yeah. But I haven't played Sniper Elite 4 for some reason.
Well, you want to dig it out.
I don't know why, because I did enjoy number 3.
And there's a co-op as well on it. So if you haven't played it and you fancy a game, then we could do that.
What I'll do, while we're chatting, I'll download it on my Xbox now.
Yeah.
On the app. But
I have to admit, I was up until 4 o'clock this morning playing it.
Oh, really? Does the missus know?
Yeah.
What'd she say?
You stupid bugger.
Well, that's nice, isn't it?
Yeah. And you'll have no sympathy off me about being tired. I said, sorry, I can't keep my eyes open. What was that?
Right, attempting to install now. There you go.
But yeah, so absolutely, really enjoyed the game. Really enjoying it. So what I like to do is go around the map and do, eliminate everything I can. I mean, I'm getting, I think, about 80% completion on most of the maps.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not searching like literally every building, but I'm trying to kill everybody that's there. So that, by the time I get to the end of the map where I've completed all of the primary and secondary objectives, that's it. It just drops and it, I can run around wherever I want to go on the map without fear of being shot.
Mm.
But, you can do stealth kills by sneaking up on people and, you can do that. So, it's quite good when, someone's coming up round a corner and you hide at the edge of the corner, and then as they walk past you, not seeing that you're close up against a wall, you can then sneak up behind them and, stab them or break the neck or whatever.
Mm. There's a season pass. That's $26.99 though. Ouch.
Yeah, quite expensive. To be honest, this is a sort of game that once in a year's time, the season pass or the Game of the Year edition will be like £7 or £8.
Mm.
It's one of those games that doesn't really hold its worth that much, but it's a good franchise. I really enjoyed Sniper Elite 3. I did that on the PC, on triple screen as well. That was quite an experience playing it triple screen.
Oh, I bet, yeah.
Because obviously you could see round the corners much easier. It's harder to play on a console for that reason alone.
Mm.
And that's before you even get into the aiming and stuff like that. The game it's not first person for most of it. It's third person over the shoulder kind of view.
Mm-hmm.
But you can swap which shoulder you want to look over. There's quite a nice thing where you can mark people with your binoculars and then that keeps track of them. A bit like Eagle Vision used to work on Assassin's Creed. This works similar on this game. But, if you want to slowly pick off everything on the maps, it's going to take you about an hour to 2 hours per map. Mm. And I think there's about 8-9 maps on there, something like that.
God, I'm trying to remember. I've got an image stuck in my head of in Sniper Elite 3 then, of the airfield map. Yes. Where you have to go around there picking off bits and bobs and people in the towers and stuff. Yeah. And having to... I really enjoyed that. That was great.
And it's one of those sort of games that it really gives you a sense of achievement when you hit that really long-sighted shot.
Mm.
So, it's like, because, I mean, my dad was old enough for, conscription. And his role, he was a sniper. So it's kind of like, I know that he never actually did anything like this, but it's sort of like quite good to, to have a look and see what it would have been kind of like to have been a sniper in a war.
Yeah.
But it's an enjoyable game. It's not for everyone. It's not, definitely not. I know that one or two members of our community have in the past said how much they've hated the game. Which is fair enough, but, we can't all like everything, can we? But I quite like this as a series. I do think that the third one was better than this, though. I don't know what it is, but it's not much. Don't get me wrong, it's still an enjoyable game.
Mm.
Well, it must have been for me to stay up till 4 o'clock in the morning playing it.
Must have been, yeah.
Yeah. So, but yeah, you can kill Nazis and you can do it from one end of the map to the other. What's not to like about it?
No.
So yeah, so that's kind of my game. And the other game I've also played is Just Cause 4.
Oh yeah,
yeah.
Briefly on that, I know that's really your bag, isn't that game? It's one of those.
Yeah, apart from the fact that I actually prefer Just Cause 3.
Really?
Believe
that's a shame.
Yeah, I mean, to be honest, Just Cause 3 had a bit of a troubled birth, shall we say. In terms of when they were talking, well, when it was released, it was quite buggy, etc., etc. But they fixed all of that, and it's just a great fun, high-octane sort of game that never leaves you in any doubt about where your next objectives is or anything like that. Just Cause 4 is very similar to Just Cause 3, apart from the fact that I just don't feel that it's as pointing in terms of if you're stuck on what to do, you can go over here. There seems to be lots of things to do with like wingsuits and stuff like that, but after that, it's, you have to go hunting a little bit too much in order to get objectives to do. In terms of gameplay, it plays fine, although I do feel that the wingsuit's a bit of a dog's dinner in terms of controlling. But there are new additions like the balloons a la, the Phantom Pain, Metal Gear Solid game.
Yeah. Where
you can launch stuff into the air. And there are some really quite nice effects. So, for example, if there is like a vertical standing, petrol container, sort of thing standing there, if you shoot one end of it, it'll fly up straight into the air, looks like a rocket launching. And stuff like that. Or if it's lying on its side and you shoot the end, then it'll fly off and then it'll explode on whatever it collides with. So there's, you can do all sorts of weird things. You can put on, like little jet thrusters and balloons on a tank and give yourself a flying tank if you want. It's crazy. It's as mad as a box of frogs. And it's also got atmospheric effects as well now with tornadoes.
Yes, I saw some of the images and some of the footage of that. It looked pretty cool, must admit.
Yeah. It does look cool. I just think that version 3 just has the edge on it. Personally. I think if you've already got 3, or you've not played 3, and you've got 3 and 4 as the options, go for 3, because it's just a little bit more fun.
Yeah, yeah.
A little bit, it's not that 4 has gone super serious, but I think it's taken itself a little bit more serious, if you understand what I mean.
Yeah, it's gone too serious then.
No, it's not serious. How can, sticking on a load of balloons onto a tank and then putting on a couple of jets and make it a flying tank be serious in anybody's vocabulary? But I just think it's taken itself a little bit too serious at times. Whereas I think that 3 was just aimed at big explosions and lots of guns. So, yeah. So that's my view anyway. So, anything else you want to add?
No, not really.
Okay, well, in that case, then we'll move on to movies, TV, and streaming.
In quest of a better life.
All right, so movies, TV, and streaming. And the news this week is evidently there is a Monster Hunter movie on the way.
Yep, because I've been watching Mila Jovovich's Instagram account, and she's been putting some videos when she's been out there training and doing stuff in the desert.
Yes, indeed.
So,
indeed.
She's very grand, good girl. So, yeah, I don't know if they finished filming it yet, but it's well underway in production at the moment.
Yeah, so it looks, I think it'll be quite good because Monster Hunter World's got a really quite nicely imagined sort of environment to it. And also, as well, there's been The Witcher in the game this week, hasn't there, as well? Forgot to mention that in the gaming section. That, I've forgotten what he's called on The Witcher, but his character has been appearing as a bit of DLC within the game, which is quite cool. Nice crossover. Kind of makes sense as well if you think about it, with the Griffin that they had in there. any other monsters on on The Witcher for it to be in the same universe as Monster Hunter.
Okay.
Yeah. So anyway, obviously this is what Mila is doing instead of Resident Evil now. So expect to see Monster Hunter 2, 3, 4, etc. Other bit of news is that Chris Pratt of Guardians of the Galaxy and the Avengers fame has been talking about the next Guardians of the Galaxy 3 movie. Now, if you remember, James Gunn, who was the writer and director of the film, was fired by Disney because of something that he'd said when he was younger on Twitter, which allegedly Disney knew all about, but then when it came into the public consciousness, they then said, oh no, this is disgusting and we're not going to bother having you. And then all of the cast then got very upset about this really nice guy who, was a different person to when he'd actually made these comments, and now being fired for something that he did when he was a kid. And, we're not happy about that. And they were said that they're not going to be involved with the new movie or whatever. Well, evidently that's all changed. And Chris Pratt's confirmed that the new film will happen. And it's going to use James Gunn's script as well.
Oh, cool.
But he's not directing it.
Yeah, we know about that one, don't we?
But that's fair enough, though, isn't it?
Yeah, it's all right.
Yeah. So, so I'm really looking forward to that because I love the Guardians of the Galaxy movies. I just want to know, whether or not certain characters are going to come back.
All will be revealed in time.
Yeah. I'm not talking about whether or not the certain actors are going to come back because of James Gunn and the situation there. I'm talking about in the universe, shall we say, because the Snap did do a snap and a half. And interesting, have you seen the new trailers? That was shown during the Super Bowl? Yes.
I've been meaning to, but not as yet. No, I haven't had a chance.
Yeah, really quite moody sort of trailers going on there. So yeah, I think it'll be quite interesting to see what happens. Anyway, cinema releases. So we have on the 13th of February, Happy Death Day to You. 14th of February, Instant Family, and the 15th of February, The Kid Who Would Be King and A Private War. Have you seen the adverts for that, The Kid Who Would Be King?
No, but I have listened to a podcast talking to the director of the movie.
Yeah.
And it does sound a bit wacky, must admit.
Yeah, it feels like somebody wanted to do another Harry Potter that wasn't Harry Potter.
But he's King Arthur.
But he's King Arthur instead. Yeah. That's kind of what I've seen of it.
I think I was listening to the Empire podcast and they were chatting to him. It's worth a listen.
Yeah.
Because I think I do want to see it at some point.
Oh God, no, I don't. It just looks like it's got a load of pretentious kids in it.
But it is, it's more for kids, this movie.
Yeah, definitely. It's not for us.
No, but I will talk about Happy Death Day to You a bit later because that is right up my alley.
Yes.
Not yours, but mine.
No, Mr. Horror here. Okay, so do you want to do the DVD and Blu-ray?
Yeah, have we actually highlighted anything? Because I don't think anything's been highlighted there.
Because to be quite honest, I couldn't really see anything that was I thought was vaguely of interest.
Okay, well,
but you might see something.
For those that have got a mum or a wife, A Star Is Born has been released.
Yeah.
Blu-ray, 4K DVD.
Yeah, because don't forget, it is sort of like that day that women get very tetchy about, isn't it?
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
What is it called? Valentine's Day.
Oh, God, don't remind me. I think we're passing that one.
No, I've got to do something.
Well, I'll discuss it with the missus for myself, but we will. It's more about just reminding them so they're happy. That's all you got to do.
Yeah. Having said that, though, I'd be tetchy if she forgot. So.
Yeah.
It's also what us blokes really like, but we just.
I know.
We don't like to admit it to other blokes.
No. Netflix wise, there's obviously The Good Place season 2 on Blu-ray DVD, if that's what you want to go and do. Other than that, there's not really a lot out there.
Yeah, I must admit, I'm absolutely gutted that The Good Place is already finished. I thought it was supposed to be 13 episodes. It's 12.
Oh, was it? Oh, well, I haven't finished it yet, but yeah.
But, the last episode, what happens? Well, you'll enjoy it.
Oh, yeah, I will get to see it.
Yeah.
Anyway, so we're going to swiftly go past this. Do you want to do cinema charts then?
Okay, so at number 5, we've got Mary Queen of Scots. At number 4, we've got Escape Room. Number 3, we have Glass. At number 2, we have Green Book. And at number 1, How to Train Your Dragon, The Hidden World.
And one of my daughters went to see Escape Room and said it was really good. So, yeah. Definitely one for me.
Okay. Do you want to do Blu-rays?
Okay, so we have got down from 1 to 5, King of Thieves. In at 4, we've got Mile 22. In at 3, we've got Reign of Superman. Superman, sorry. In at 2, we have The House with the Clock in Its Walls. And in at number 1, The Predator.
Despite the fact it's supposed to be an awful movie.
That's why I wasn't going to say much about that.
Yeah, move on. So, tell us about Happy Death Day then.
So, this week we've got Happy Death Day to You coming out. Mm-hmm. And ironically, I actually watched the first movie last night.
Okay. Was this on Netflix or something? Or
this was on Sky.
Okay.
So I class this as a comedy horror meets Groundhog Day. So do you know anything about Happy Death Day?
No.
Okay, so just a brief synopsis. A college student must relive the day of her murder over and over again in a loop that will end only when she discovers who kills her.
Oh.
And it is really, it's got a quite, it's say more comedy than horror, but it is, it's really good. It's I think it's worth a watch.
And does she remember this every time? Yes,
she does. And it's doing her head in. Because she wakes up in this bed, because when I touted this to the missus, I said, look, I know you don't like Groundhog Day. She went, not one of those. I said, yeah, just bear with it. And actually, she quite liked it. It actually did work, this one. But yeah, it's got that same idea with Groundhog Day when they're going through that first day. Yeah. And she's trying to sort out who the killer is and talking to people that she wants to tell them why she's doing this and what have you. And honestly, it was a blast, absolute blast. And I remember, funnily enough, when I went to see Halloween last year, I saw the trailer for Happy Death Day to You. I thought, that is on my Skybox to watch. I must actually watch it. And it's just taken me this long to actually do it. But I'm glad I've seen it.
Yeah.
It's well worth it. Yeah, really funny in a way. And the girl that plays it, she pulls it off really well. And it's a typical teenager movie in one way, but I quite like it. It's all right.
So is it sort of like Scream humour?
Yeah, in a little way, yeah. Yeah. In a little way. Yeah, because she's getting killed in different ways.
Right, okay.
By the killer.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's not and I don't want to give anything away, but she even goes out of her way to kill herself at some point because she wants to do that for a reason.
Okay.
And yeah, no, it's a blast. It's well worth the watch. You're in a bit of fun.
Yeah.
There's another film I did watch, which I haven't got actually on here. Which I actually finally got to see, War for Planet of the Apes.
What did you think?
It was too long movie.
I couldn't get through it. I've got it sat on my shelf, and I've never watched the whole thing.
The first half of the film, it's all subtitles, obviously, except for when Caesar's talking.
Yeah.
And then a little bit later, we meet a little chimpanzee that can talk.
Yeah.
Which looks like something out of Harry Potter. But I said to them, I said, I'm struggling with this, but when it comes to the second half of the movie with all the apes in prison, and you had the reoccurring character from the last movie,
yeah,
and I thought, well, we're going to see it to the end anyway. And I'll tell you what helped me carry on, because I was curious. Did you get as far as seeing the little deaf girl, little mute girl?
No.
Oh, you didn't?
No. I really struggled with the movie. I just couldn't get into it at all.
So,
or I don't remember if I did.
It's been out for a long time, so I can talk about it a bit more openly. So Caesar goes on his travels after losing parts of his family.
Yeah.
From this human, and they come across this guy who they shoot this human who was about to shoot them, and unfortunately, when they go into his house, they see a little mute girl in there. And the orangutan says, "We can't leave her there," sort of thing. So Caesar agrees that they take her along, and she's very much a part of the film.
Yeah.
And do you know what her name was?
Nope.
Nova. I'm waiting for the penny to drop here.
Yeah, I know that. Yeah, but that doesn't really fit with the time scale, though, does it?
No, it doesn't. But I think it's just a little Easter egg, if anything.
Yeah, because Nova being the female's name from the original Planet of the Apes movie.
Yeah, she was the mute woman in the same jail when Charlton Heston got thrown in the prison.
But that was supposed to be many hundreds of years later.
It was, yeah. And ironically, one of Caesar's chimpanzees, little kids, was called Cornelius.
Yeah.
Which was obviously
Dr. Cornelius.
Yeah, but then you had Cornelius, the chimpanzee, which Roddy McDowall played.
Yeah.
As well. But anyway, I thought I'm going to see this out because I'm very curious to see how this ends. But yeah, it was all right. Come the end of it, it did what it did. But it's not my favourite of the three.
Is that the one with Woody, what his name is?
Yeah, well, Woody Harrelson was in the second one, so he was in the third one.
Yeah.
And it was him that he was tracking down.
Yeah.
But I still have my fondest memories of watching his original Planet of the Apes series. That is also going to still always stand over the top of these.
Which you were watching as well this week, were you?
I actually watched episode 1 of the TV series.
Yeah, I've got the TV series as well. And
that's worth a watch.
Yeah.
I love that franchise. The original series is a series of movies that I love to death. I mean, some of them, there's 5 of them, and what I like about that, if you watch any one of those movies and keep it in that sync, so watch 3, then watch 4, 5, 1, 2, it still does a circle on that story.
Yeah.
Which is quite clever. But Planet of the Apes with Charlton Heston's awesome. It's a lovely film.
I think that Planet of the Apes was the first time that in sci-fi movies that had ever been done as well, wasn't it?
Probably, yeah. So, yeah, just briefly about, I don't think they're going to make another movie for the franchise. Because they would have to do Planet of the Apes next.
Yeah.
Which will be interesting. I mean, I don't know if it would be done. I don't think Andy Serkis is up for another running around with balls plastered all over his face.
To be fair, what they could do is jump forward many hundreds of years and do Mad Landing and do the Charlton Heston one.
Well, that's what I'm saying. They could do Planet of the Apes.
Yeah.
As in, so that would be the next one in the way they did it.
Yeah. Well, apart from the fact that wouldn't have to do the nuclear explosion, with the humans worshipping a nuclear bomb first and then do.
Well, no, because that was the second
one. Yeah, I was getting my causality mixed up there.
That's right. Yeah. So that was the second movie out of the 5. Yeah.
Yeah.
But it would be sacrilege in one way to do a direct sequel to the original. But I would be interested in it, I must admit.
Yeah, I'd like them to do that, actually. Do a proper Planet of the Apes. Not the Mark Wahlberg, Marky Mark version. Although it would be quite nice if that fit in somewhere along that timeline as well.
Well, that was even weird, wasn't it? Because at the end of that movie, you had the statue of Abraham Lincoln as an ape, didn't you?
Yeah,
sitting
you did.
in his chair. But yeah. What about yourself? You've gone back in time a bit by the looks of it.
I have. I've gone back to 1997 because I've been watching a little film by director Paul Verhoeven.
Who I highly respect that guy for what he's done in the past.
Yep, and it ain't Total Recall, and it's not RoboCop. So the only one it can be that, from 1997 would be Starship Troopers.
Mm.
And this is one of those ones, I picked it up recently for quite cheap on Blu-ray. Not 4K, just normal Blu-ray. And I thought, I fancy playing this and seeing what it's, also refreshing my head on what the film was about and everything. Because how sometimes you watch a film and there's a long gap and you think, did I remember that film right? When I'm looking back and thinking fondly of it, was it actually a film I really enjoyed, or was it just one of them things of the era?
I remember Denise Richards in it.
Yeah.
And I also remember a certain actor from V.
Michael Ironside.
Of course.
Yeah.
And it's funny because Neil Patrick Harris.
Yes.
It's funny how his career went and how he came out and all that.
Yeah, it's weird looking at him in this now.
Yeah. But, yeah, it's a good film. And they did a sequel, which was a bit poor.
Yeah, and then they did a sequel to the sequel.
Yeah. Now, aren't they doing a remake now?
I believe so, yeah. But, excuse me. In terms of this film, I mean, when you consider this is a 1997 movie, and one of the things that was intriguing me the most, I would say, was this was a heavy CGI movie. And bearing in mind, this is pre, The Phantom Menace and pre The Matrix, the watershed movies, really, in terms of CGI, weren't they? Of the the late 90s, early 2000s, those are the ones that you really think of. And maybe Terminator 2 as well, but less so Terminator 2. While there was a lot of special effects, they weren't quite this, it's not in the way that this was. And I was thinking, I always remember the bugs looking really realistic. Because the story, if you don't know about this, is that this is set in the future. The Earth has gone through some sort of upheaval, and this Nazi-esque sort of federation has taken over everything to do with the Earth. We've got space travel, blah blah blah, and everything's this very sort of stylized. You do national service to become a citizen, and protect the Federation and all of this, that and the other. And then opposing, the antagonists of the movie, these arachnid bugs from the planet Klandathu, who kill people, basically. They don't have technology in the way that we do, but somehow they still manage to fire meteorites across the galaxy to, attack Earth and stuff like that. So it starts off with Casper Van Dien as Johnny Rico, who's at school with Denise Richards as Carmen, and he's best friends with Neil Patrick Harris as Jenkins.
Yeah.
And Michael Ironside as Razchek is their teacher, if you remember that.
Yeah, I do.
And, he's got an arm missing in it, which it's very much that sort of Forrest Gump kind of special effects, where, they remove limbs and it looks really quite realistic. Although looking at it, I was thinking, yeah, you can kind of see that you've got your arm built up on, inside something and it's holding your arm up in that sleeve. Do you know what I mean? It just didn't look quite right. But anyway, Carmen's, Denise Richards' character's wanting to become a pilot. And, Johnny signs up to go to the infantry, and it takes you on his path throughout the infantry, and then it turns out when he goes to war against the bugs that Michael Ironside's Razchek character is actually his squad leader. And, anything with Michael Ironside it is automatically made brilliant by the fact that Michael Ironside is in it anyway, we know this. But the bugs themselves, in terms of what they're attacking or what's attacking them, they look fantastic. When you consider that this is like 22-year-old CGI, and they look brilliant. They look a lot better than what a lot of movies nowadays still aspire to get. And to me, what they've done in terms of at the time, it must have been tremendous processing power that they've done this, because when they're in the base and that's being attacked, and when you look out, when it shows you outside of the base that they're being attacked in, it's just a sea of these arachnid bugs. And it's all of the over-the-top violence as well. So some of the bugs will fly, for example, and then they start attacking these people who are, defending this base. And as they fly past, you just see this person shooting at them, and then it just goes past, and then you just see the head spinning and landing, and the headless corpse dropping down to the ground. But it's also really well done, and also that intermixing between CGI and live action, where a character will get picked up by a bug, and then because they've got these massive mandibles, they just rips or cuts a person in half, and then it throws the body in different directions, and you can't tell where the CGI started and where the live action stopped. Do you know what I mean? So I think all in all, they've done a fantastic a fantastic job of the effects. In terms of the story, it is a complete, my brain is taking a check, please, for this, because you don't want to do a deep dive in terms of the what the story's telling you. Although I'm sure that there's probably something about the potential Nazi-esque future of the human race. But the action's also interspaced with these sort of commercials, or not commercials, more like mini newsreels that are very sort of internet-y kind of based, a bit like you would get an advert on, I don't know, YouTube or something like that. But instead of being an advert for toothpaste or whatever, it's a news segment that says, and on Clondathu, our boys have gone down there and, 100,000 people died in 1 hour, and, do you want to know more? And then it shows you this little mouse pointer going to the next flashing button on the screen and stuff like that. It's just really nice little stylized view that they've done. Not that I think it's a good view, but they've painted a picture of the environment, of the world very well in this movie, I think.
Oh, cool.
So that's my deep dive analysis of Starship Troopers.
I'll wake up now. It's all right.
Yeah, but it's worth a watch, definitely. If you like sci-fi, it is a good movie, I must admit. I mean, now I would say that really it's escalated to the point of classic, because it's over 20 years old, and it is quite a classic movie of the genre. Be interested to see what the remake is, because the second one had nothing to do with the first one. No. So sort of like a bit of trepidation and dread in terms of any remake.
Yeah, it's one thing that we don't like to think about. It's funny because there's been 3 Starship Troopers movies, isn't there? So I've probably not even seen the third one, to be honest.
I've got the third one, Marauder, but to be honest, I don't remember that much of it. So, but it did have Casper Van Dien back as Johnny Rico. And it also had who played T'Pau on Enterprise on it as well.
Yeah.
But Johnny Rico's by then a very seasoned sort of character.
Yeah, I mean, I was just looking at Internet Movie Database. There's not a lot of information about the remake.
No.
There's nothing there at all at the moment.
I think considering how well I thought that this stood up, I don't think it needs a remake. In a lot of respects, it could have been made in the last few years. When you look at the effects, the worst bit of the effects is in the training where they're shooting lasers at each other in practice.
Yeah,
that looks naff. But after that, it's good. The other film I've been watching is Paula. Have you seen this one? It's on Netflix.
Oh, is it?
Yeah, it's Mad Mikkelsen. He basically plays a retiring assassin he's got like 2 weeks until he retires, and then his employer, the company that does these assassinations, they do like a pension plan. Who knew that assassins had a pension plans? But he's evidently owed about $8 million, and his boss doesn't want to pay him his retirement dues, basically, because I don't know whether or not he can't or whatever. So this is an adaptation of the Dark Horse graphic novel Paula Came with the Cold.
Okay.
What is really unusual about this is the choice of some of the actors, or one particular actor, because Matt Lucas, as in Little Britain Matt Lucas, Yeah, no. Him.
Yeah, the only guy in the village.
Yeah, he plays Blunt.
Okay.
Who employs Mad's character, and he's hell-bent on killing him before he has to pay his retirement. Some moments of excellence in this movie, particularly thanks to Mads' portrayal, because he's one of those actors. He's not one of my favourite actors, but I've got a lot of respect for how well he portrays himself. Do you know what I mean? I just find him to be a bit of a creepy guy. Not that I think he is, but I don't know. Some people, when you look at him, you just think, I don't know, you just can't quite associate with. And he's one of those ones, but I appreciate his acting skills. And
he's done quite a few good films back in the,
He has, yeah. He's like I said, he's a good actor. It's an over-the-top movie. There's a great twist in the movie as well, which, to be fair, I did see sort of like coming from a long way away. I think it paints the picture of where it's setting itself up. It's very graphic in terms of violence, particularly some of like the torture bits where Matt Lucas is torturing Mads' character, doing little surface slices on his skin and stuff like this. And there's one bit where he jabs his eye out.
Yeah.
And some of the other violence is very over the top. Like, there's also quite a bit of sex and nudity in it. There's one assassin who works for the same company as Mads does, but they don't know each other. And, her thing is that she diverts the target by having sex with them while the rest of the team come in and kill him.
Yeah. Apart
from the fact it goes wrong and she ends up getting shot instead of him. And then sort of like Mads then goes on a rampage and, there's a sniper at the other side of this lake in the snow, and Mads runs out there completely, stark naked and goes and kills him and stuff like that. It's mad in terms of stuff, some of the stuff that goes on in this movie. But for me, I think what is probably the biggest letdown in this is the choice of villain being Matt Lucas, because he just felt like he was like an evil, David being the only guy in the village.
But he hasn't got that strength as an actor personally.
No.
He's a great comedian.
He is.
So don't get me wrong. But to pull this off, it's hard. It could be hard work, but we all know him so well as the only guy in the village or whatever.
Yeah. Or as Andy.
Yeah, no.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And I don't think, I think that probably just doesn't make the film pull it off at the end for that reason.
But
if the lead character was the baddie.
If Mads was, it'd be hellish dark.
We've got to see him in Death Stranding yet, haven't we? Yes, one of these things is up and coming at some point.
Yeah.
But because he's and I loved him in Hannibal.
Yeah. I mean, don't get me wrong. In terms of Matt Lucas, if I'm not sure what the intent was with Matt Lucas.
What was the director thinking?
Yeah. Did he want? Because to be fair, Matt Lucas still comes across as incredibly camp, and he probably could have been in one of Mike Myers' movies, if you know what I mean. He would have been a better sort of like alternate to Dr. Evil.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I mean.
but because of this film is so dark, other than really being able to portray a cowardly villain who is only tough because he's paying people a lot of money, he feels he can shout at them in whatever way he wants, and he'll do it by force by all of the other people around him. That's about as far as his character goes. It just doesn't feel right for the movie. It felt like you needed an antagonist that was the same as Mads' character. Do you know what I mean? To make it darker. Whereas it just ended up being almost like you had comedy moments from Matt Lucas. But maybe that was the point, and I just didn't get that. Or, didn't feel that fit. But having said that though, Mads' portrayal and the story and everything, despite Matt Lucas's character, which just grates in the end, it was still a good film. Still enjoyable. Do you know what I mean? It's not going to win any Oscars. Certainly not. But if you want something sort of like pulpy, graphic novel-esque sort of over the topness, you can't really go far wrong and watch this. I would say it's a pretty standard sort of 6.5, 7 out of 10. Better than average, but not any great thespian work. It's not going to be the new Shakespeare, that's for sure.
No, absolutely.
So, anyway, that's what I've been watching. So, have you got anything else to add there, Steve? Or
TV wise, I think it's just some of the. I'm slowly going through The Flash and Arrow at the moment.
Yeah, there's still a while to go before the next series or the remainder of that series, isn't there?
Yeah, actually, Sheldon, that kicked off this week as well.
Yeah,
with the second half of the season for that. Big Bang's being filmed at the moment. Looking forward to seeing William Shatner in that. That should be fun. Let's say this. And Modern Family started it last week as well, which was pretty good. At last, so starting to watch that again. So yeah, a few good things to watch. But I'm glad that some of them haven't come back yet, because I'm going to probably catch up a little bit. My hard drive's pretty full at the minute. It's all The Walking Dead I've got on there at the minute. I'm about 2 seasons behind.
Oh, so. You've got to catch up on that. I really like the new season of The Walking Dead.
Yeah, I think I've got maybe 3 seasons. I'm not really sure, actually.
No, I think you got 2. You got to the end of season 7. And we're on season 9 now.
So, yeah, it's all sorts of stuff to watch.
Yeah.
And stuff to watch with the missus as well, which we've taken a break from because we're going to wait for the season to finish for that. Netflix-wise, I don't think I've been watching. Well, I'd say I'm 2 episodes of Star Trek behind at the minute, which I'm sure I'll catch up over this next week. But yeah, it's too much to watch as usual. It's ridiculous.
Like I say, I'm finding it the opposite. I'm finding it that it's a bit of a dearth at the moment, and I'm looking for stuff as opposed to it finding me. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, I tell you what I have been doing, which is pretty good, because I obviously I've been, as you know, I've started watching Doctor Who again from Christopher Eccleston.
Yeah.
And I've just hit season 2 of David Tennant. So the first season finished with the Battle at Canary Wharf. Mm-hmm. If you remember that.
I do.
What a fantastic set of episodes that was. It's been a long time since I watched it, and I still remembered it, but I thought, wow, that was just awesome.
Yeah, because David Tennant, when it was the Dalek one, had a regeneration that wasn't a regeneration.
Oh yeah, but that were I'm not that far. That's near the end of his. That's probably halfway through his seasons.
Yeah.
Which it hasn't happened yet. But as I say, I've just started season 2 of his, which is where Martha Jones comes into play.
Yeah.
You said that with a bit of anticipation there.
Well, I know that I think that she was probably she had big boots to fill, didn't she?
What, compare from Billy Piper, you mean? Yeah.
Yeah. And I don't mean that as in, it's Billy Piper or anything. I mean...
No, but she really did play that well, to be honest.
Yeah.
I don't care what anyone says.
Yeah, she did a good job of the Rose Tyler character.
And they closed that story down very well.
They did, but then they brought it back.
Well, yeah, but I've not back to that yet. But yeah, I know that she does come back later on. But... I mean, there's some great episodes to come in the season. I've got Blink, which is one of my favourites.
Yeah.
If you remember that one.
I do, yeah, because it was where they first brought in the Weeping Angels.
That's it. And then obviously that hits to the finale where we've got John Sim as the Master.
Yeah, now John Sims, he was brilliant as a Master.
I nearly say Jack Sparrow. Then Captain Jack comes back into it as well, which I do love him in the show as well. And I'm still looking to get Torchwood. I really want to watch that series again. Anyway, should we move to the questions then?
Yeah, let's move to the questions.
John, what's happening to us?
Okay, so... as always, we've got our listener questions, and as normal, Mark is kicking us off, so that Mark's very kindly actually sent me in questions last week when we didn't meet, and then also questions this week. So what I've done is I've taken Mark's questions from last week. I will keep them in this week's ones in a bins for next week, and then so we've always got ones in hand, just in case we ever run out.
Rack 'em and stack 'em.
Rack 'em and stack 'em, yeah. So, okay, Mark's first question is... if a game offers a character creation, do you always tend to create the same character look and follow the same traits across all games?
Sometimes.
Okay.
I mean, I do. Sometimes I like, depending on the game, I do like to sometimes go between different sexes from male to female.
Yeah.
And saying that, I didn't, as an example, I didn't do what most people did. I didn't have a femme shep in Mass Effect.
Yeah, that was a big thing, wasn't it? Having a femme shep.
Yeah. Because of the way the storyline went with the characters that she was involved, or he or she were involved in.
I mean, if you think about it, that was one of the big things about what was so shocking about Mass Effect 3, because you could be like male shepherd and have a relationship with male characters. So,
and then the other spin,
yeah, you could be female and have relationships with female characters. So, yeah. I don't think there's anything the matter with any of that, because it gave people the ability to choose what sexuality they wanted their character to have, which is exactly the way it should be. So, but it was controversial, wasn't it, when that was first released?
And being a blue woman as well.
No, that was the first one. That was the first one, wasn't it? It wasn't the third. That was where all the controversy kicked in, when the media started talking about it.
Oh, they did, yeah.
Liara,
how about yourself?
Wasn't it?
Yeah. How about yourself? Do you like to switch between sexes sometimes, or?
I'll be honest, no, I don't. I feel it's wrong, for me, personally. To go to a female character. If the main character, the protagonist, is supposed to be female, like, for example, Tomb Raider.
That's what we're just going to go down the route, but there it's fixed anyway.
Yeah,
so. But
I have no problem with playing a female character because the story's about that. But where the story's supposed to be more about me, as it were. Yeah.
But then again, say if you're going to do like an RPG, for example, which is probably where we're going to go down with character creation,
just me. That's just the way that I will play, just so that I identify with the character more. I don't know.
Like me, I've got my feminine traits. It's just the way it is.
Yeah, I mean, you play female characters in Destiny as well, don't you? You have one.
Yeah, I did. Yeah, I did. I had a male and a female.
Yeah. So yeah, all of my characters, all 9 of them, are all
hard
males. But no, seriously though. But I'm just not really that bothered about. I'm quite happy. I'm male. I was born male. I will hopefully die male, because I don't. I have no desire to explore being female. So, but
okay.
if other people want to, that's fine.
Each to their own. Anyway, shall I read question 2?
Yep.
What's the last game you were sad to finish?
The last game I was sad to finish. I think, to be honest, just about every game where I've invested an awful lot of time in, I've been quite sad to finish in the end. So I would say the most recent one would be, although it's not finished, is Assassin's Creed Odyssey, because there's the DLC. But in terms of the main story, I'm sorry to have finished it.
I think I'll probably go back I'll go back a bit further though. Only the reason being because they're such short stories. Is the Tomb Raider films? I mean, not games. I mean, I haven't played the latest one yet.
You know that's on Game Pass now.
Oh, is it? I got it pretty cheap anyway, but
yeah,
it's by the by. But those games I do have much of fondness for, and they're such great storylines, and because of the way the story how it builds, it's like a great movie you watch. You think, oh, is it coming to an end now? I've got to go out,
Yeah,
that's how those games are to me.
Yeah, I mean, I've been sorry to have finished God of War, Spider-Man, a couple of other games, and Detroit Must Become Human.
Yes, that's one I do need to go back to at some point.
And you know about Insomniac Games as well. Have you heard about that? You heard about it?
Oh, about their exclusivity and stuff like that?
Yes, as in the terms of no longer going to be exclusive because they're going to be releasing multi-platform.
Yeah, interesting that.
Yeah. But to be honest, I do think that in terms of things like exclusivity, I think unless Sony and Microsoft pay big money to companies they don't own, they're not going to go for that exclusivity because they're going to earn more revenue by selling it on different platforms. And I think that they need to do that to recoup the development costs now. So I think that apart from first-party stuff, we're not going to see any exclusives in the future. I think that will go the way of the dodo, and I hope it does. So, okay.
I apologise for Yoda. You might be hearing in the background.
A little bit, but don't worry.
He's having a moment.
As is Kylo was before as well. It was so sad, aren't we? 2 dogs named after Star Wars characters.
Move on.
Okay, so moving on to Facebook, we've got Ant Lewis, and he's saying, after hearing you both praise Resident Evil 2 Remake, what other remakes would you like to see in the future?
Well, obviously there'll be Resident Evil 3 Nemesis, without saying anything else there, straight off the bat.
Yeah.
But from a Capcom point of view, how about Dino Crisis? I did enjoy that one.
Not overly bothered. What about non-Capcom?
Off the tip of my head, can you think of any that you'd like to see maybe remade?
How about Metal Gear Solid from the PlayStation 1?
Yeah, actually 1 and 2 would be nice.
Yeah.
If anything.
And that would work because that was similar sort of fixed camera angles for the most part, wasn't it?
It was. Games. They're rock hard if you try to play them now, I'll tell you.
Oh, I know. Yeah, I know.
I'm glad I completed them then. I never want to attempt it now, to be honest.
Yeah, I think there's a certain dumbing down on gaming skills nowadays.
That's what I mean when I was playing Resident Evil 2 the other night. When I was determined, I thought, it kept asking me, do you want to dumb this down? and we'll give you more health and make. I thought, no, I've got all this way. Am I going to dumb it down at the last minute? You've got nothing coming. But yeah, I can't think off the top of my head of any others. We've had a few come out like Spyro, and which don't really interest me, to be honest.
I've still got Crash Bandicoot sitting there and it hasn't even been loaded on.
Yeah, that's still rock hard as well if you want to play that.
Yeah. I think the Spyro one isn't, though, because there's been quite a lot of people getting that 1,000 gamer score, haven't they, on the first game?
I'll tell you what I would like, actually. There was a PlayStation game that I played that I loved, also because of the TV show that it was sent around.
Yeah.
And with the power of computing and graphics and everything else, how about another X-Files game, the way they did the original one on the PlayStation?
I don't remember how they did the original one on the PlayStation.
Didn't you see that? So what it was a point-and-click adventure.
Yeah.
But it was filmed, it was live action with the main characters.
No, I definitely didn't see that.
Did you see that?
No.
It was, and you would use your office and your phone as the main hub to interact as well.
Okay.
So do you remember, for example, something else I have played recently, which I've not talked about, which is, do you remember Night Shift?
Yes, I do.
Okay. And I did play that last week, actually, funnily enough, and finished it with a different ending. And to have, like, the X-Files like that would be pretty cool, or another TV show, maybe.
You know that there are 8 endings to Late Shift?
I know, and I've opened probably about 4, I think.
I've done 7.
But it's very fine line on the endings.
Yes, apart from one, which is goes down a completely different storyline.
Well, don't tell me, because I will go back to it. Because if anyone else wants to play a game like after watching Black Mirror,
yeah,
and having your scenario of taking that TV show in a direction you do with giving two different ways to take the tree,
yeah,
you should try that. I think I would praise that game a lot.
Yeah, it was really good. And there's also, you want to try #WarGames as well.
Yeah.
And The Bunker. Although that one doesn't have the different sort of approaches, but it does have the film thing. And then there's another one. I'm trying to remember what it was. It had a really weird title.
But I think the way they filmed the Night Shift, I mean, it's very good quality.
Yeah.
And where back in the day, the X-Files on the PlayStation, it wouldn't have been.
Mm.
I mean, you can find emulators probably for that, I'm sure, if you wanted to run it somewhere.
Yeah.
But I love the X-Files, and that would be great to do something like that.
Yeah, definitely.
What about yourself? Can you think of anything really that comes to mind other than Metal Gear?
Ridge Racer.
What about from the Xbox point of view?
Well, the Xbox ones tend to have been remade, like Halo and stuff like that, don't they?
And we're fingers crossed for a new Fable.
Yeah. By the way, that other one was The Infectious Madness of Dr. Decker.
Okay.
I knew it had a weird title. Other games for remake. I'd like to see Ridge Racer brought up to date.
Yeah.
Because I was always a massive Ridge Racer fan. But they would have to have that, proper arcadey kind of feel, not make it simulatory.
Well, they need proper mechanics for driving, because I think the way that used to work is you were moving you weren't moving the car, you were moving the background, if you know what I mean? The way it worked.
No, you were moving the car, you weren't moving the background. I think you're thinking of Outrun.
No, I think one of them felt like that. I'm sure it did.
No.
Maybe I'm wrong, but I remember one of the Ridge Racers being very tactile and...
You used to have to do a lot of drifts, things like that. But
what was that drifting game in with Kudos points on the Xbox? Project Gotham
Racing, yeah.
Now there's a franchise you could bring back.
Yeah, Yeah, because didn't that turn into something else though? Because it was Project Gotham Racing, and it turned into they renamed the franchise after that.
Not Midnight Club, was it?
No, it wasn't. I can't remember what it was. That's going to do my head in now until I remember.
Anyway, let's do your head into, and we'll go to the next question from Michael Edwards, shall we?
Okay then.
So, from a non-gaming perspective on the question here, and we probably know Hayden's answer already, what is your favourite musical? Do I need to say that?
The Rocky Horror Picture Show.
You said that differently just because of what I said.
No,
wasn't it?
I didn't. I know I could do, if I could do that solo, standing on stage and know the songs and the words to every character.
Mm.
I used to be obsessed by that as a musical.
I'm going to go way back in time then. And a lot of people won't even probably know it. They might have heard of it, but one of my favourites is Singing in the Rain.
Mm.
And as much as the songs work well with it, it's the story.
Yeah.
Which people don't, they probably won't think, well, that's going to be a lot of rubbish. But the story's so clever. Where it's based on the time where the silent movies came into talkies.
Yeah.
And it's sort of it'd be sacrilege to remake it, to be honest. But I know that film inside out. Well,
another a more modern one that you might that's a good.
Oh, I have got a modern one I could stick in there actually.
Go on then.
Little Shop of Horrors.
Yeah, that's a lot older than the modern one I was thinking of, to be honest. But,
okay.
But no, because Rick Moranis. I mean, yeah. I remember years ago I used to go out with this girl from Blackburn, and I remember being quite inebriated, shall we say?
And you kept saying to her,
and her and me was singing "Suddenly Seymour" at the top of our lungs, doing the words to that when she was having a party.
Yeah. But I think, to be honest, a lot of the musicals that have been coming out of late don't really float my boat.
Well, to be fair, the modern, some of them are, but The Greatest Showman, I think, is a fantastic one. Obviously.
Have you seen La La Land?
Yeah, I thought it was awful. I thought it was quite depressing, to be quite honest with you, because it just didn't. Why people went so bonkers on that, I don't know, because I thought it was La La, but not in a good way.
No. I suppose you class a lot of the Disneys, actually. They're musicals in a way, aren't they?
Well, things like Beauty and the Beast and Aladdin. The cartoons,
I'm going to say that me and the missus have sang all the way through Grease.
Yeah, well, that's classic, isn't it?
And actually, we was watching, was it The Sound of Music?
Yeah.
They never knocked Julie Andrews. She's class. And
I mean, Chicago as well. That's quite an enjoyable musical. I actually went to see that live on stage in London.
Okay. What about some of the weirder ones like Sweeney Todd?
Well, I was going to say Sweeney Todd, and I was also going to say Les Mis. Yeah,
because I've not seen Les Mis. Not sure if I want to be honest.
No, I like Les Mis. Again, it's another Hugh Jackman doing a good job in, singing.
Is that your bromance, is it?
Yeah, my bromance. It's also my wife's bromance as well. So, I do know she wouldn't kick him out of bed for making crumbs.
No.
So, yeah, I like Hugh Jackman when he's doing that. As a matter of fact, I said to my wife, I found out he was doing a tour.
That's right. We did mention that. We did mention it the other week, didn't we?
Yeah. So I said to my wife about how shall we go, and she was like, "Yeah, okay, brilliant." And then we found out it's when we're going on holiday.
Oh, can you? I'm sure she would want to cancel a holiday for that.
No, she won't.
Says you.
I would.
Oh, really? Oh, okay.
I would, but she won't. But yeah, I do like Hugh Jackman. But I'll tell you another one. There's Moulin Rouge. The movie, quite like that one, but another one which is probably lesser known. It's got Ewan McGregor and Zoe. What's her name? Well, make it for Bridget Jones.
Oh right,
you know the one I mean. I've forgotten what her name is.
Yeah. Actually, I did. Actually, that's another movie I watched just of late, actually. It was the third Bridget Jones movie. I think
Bridget Jones's Baby.
Yeah, I did actually watch that the other week.
What's the name who plays Bridget Jones? It's
yeah,
Renee Zellweger.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah, not Zoe. Renee. Yeah, so it's her and Ewan McGregor, and it's called Down With Love, which is about a sort of like, you know, rich Jack Lag guy and a woman who's like, you know, anti getting married and whatever, but it's all an act because she's in love with Ewan McGregor and all this.
I've got another one, and this one is one of the. I think this one goes alongside Grease, and probably of late of today when you talk about The Last Showman and that. And if I say Patrick Swayze, are you going to come back and know what I'm talking about?
I'm trying to think of what ones he does singing in.
Oh, come on. Every woman will be on their knees for him in Dirty Dancing.
Yeah, but he's not singing, he's dancing.
No, he does sing in that, actually. He sang 2 songs in that movie.
It's not what I would consider to be a musical.
It's not a proper true musical.
No.
Where they suddenly come out and song, but it's on the edge of for me. Because we went to see the musical version on stage.
Yeah.
And that was very good, must admit. That got me a lot of kudos points taking the missus there for her birthday. Yeah. In London.
Well, likewise, taking my missus to Chicago in London did a lot of kudos points as well.
Yeah, because wasn't Richard Gere in that originally in the movie?
Yeah, do you know what? Richard Gere is one guy I really can't stand. I think he's a legend in his own lunchbox, and he thinks he's far better looking than he is. Oh,
bless him!
I can't stand Richard Gere. He's one of the actors I absolutely detest.
Because my missus' favourite movie is one of his. Actually,
Officer and a Gentleman.
Yeah, it is. But I do like. What's his name? What's that movie with? What's the name where she played
Pretty Woman?
Yeah, I do quite like that.
Yeah.
That's quite good. Anyway, we're rabbiting on about non-musicals now when we should be talking about other questions.
We are. So let's move on to the next question because I think we've already answered that question about different musicals. So I think you've got a lot of choice. But just a final note, the Disney movies like Beauty and the Beast and Aladdin, I do like those two as musicals.
Yeah.
Anyway, move on. Jason 2. I personally think that Battle Royale games are a trend and will eventually be replaced by another genre, remembering when survival craft was all the rage. Yep, I agree. So my question is, what do you think is going to be the next craze in gaming? I think we'll see a 90s nostalgia wave hit us soon, and arena shooters come back with Unreal Tournament-style games. Isn't that really a Battle Royale?
Well, it's not Last Man Standing, though, is it?
Isn't it?
Because we've had when we had games like Doom as well, which was an arena shooter, wasn't it? Theoretically.
You see, I'm going to be controversial on this. I think that the next big thing in gaming is not going to be multiplayer. I think it's going to be back to traditional old single player story based stuff that people are going to want. I think that we're already seeing that.
Well, we've had, Resi's a prime example at the moment. You know, they've not thought of thinking, let's bring multiplayer into it. You don't need it.
No,
I mean they didn't need to do that to BioShock. You know,
they didn't need to do it to Tomb Raider, but they did.
Yeah, but we might just go. We might have a complete full circle because at one point we were getting a load of games which had the idea of having waves and waves of enemies.
Yeah.
For that sort of scenario.
What about like simulators or strategy games?
Well, that's Civ on its own, isn't it?
Well, no. A simulator could be like what do you call it? You know, the tank game that you can get.
Yeah, I mean, you get a lot of board game scenarios, don't you, and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But it might just take a full circle and come back. Yeah, might well go back to first, and then we'll see multiplayer come back bigger and better a bit later, because it is oversaturated at the moment with that scenario.
Mm.
And it's not one I'm really fond of, to be honest. As much, don't get me wrong, I love a bit of multiplayer on best of the days, but with that scenario, it's just not floating my boat.
No, doesn't me either.
So, we'll have to wait and see.
Yeah, indeed.
Okay, so Lee Doherty. With the impending release of the PlayStation 5 and the new Xbox coming in the next 12 to 18 months, what are your hopes, predictions for the next-gen consoles? Backwards compatibility, dislikes on consoles, streaming services, etc.? And just how much better can the graphics get? I think we don't need a new console yet.
I don't.
To be honest.
But we got... when the 360 first came, was at the end of its generation, and the PS3, we didn't need it then. I think, in terms of it, I think that the mid-cycle consoles, like the X and the Pro, have changed it. And personally, I don't think that we should have a new console now. I think what should happen, and the way that it should work, is that for compatibility and the Xbox One, no, I'm not saying Pro or X, is retired, so that the base standard then becomes the X and the Pro moving forward. And then the next tier up of that, which would be the 5 or whatever, but it would be completely compatible with the X and the Pro. See what I mean? So that then you can then have these mid-console cycles and still be on the same ladder. So that you're always, you can get one every 3.5 years to get the better graphics and, the higher polygon count and all of this, that and the other. Or you can stick with the one that you've got and then miss a cycle and get the next one, but knowing that you're always going to take your games collection with you. That's how I think it should work. Because at the end of the day, they're glorified PCs now. They've got PC graphics cards in them, for the most part. They've got PC processors. They've got the same sort of memory. It's just custom firmware that's really the difference between them and a normal PC and the operating system. So I can't see why we need a PS5. It should be the PS4 Pro Plus and the Xbox One XL or XX, whatever it is that they're... Oh, the Xbox One X1.
Well, maybe this new sorts of technology like cloud gaming.
But cloud gaming is going to
be,
if it takes off, is going to be the death of consoles anyway. Because once cloud gaming comes in, then you can just relocate your games to a streaming service. You can play it from any device. Why do you need the hardware?
It's the same way as if we're going to get a PlayStation or Xbox without a drive in it, which I don't think we should still go that far yet.
Considering the one thing we haven't mentioned as well about the fact that the ultraviolet service is closing down. Personally, I don't think that cloud stuff is the way to go, because you're too vulnerable.
Well, look at the scenario with OneDrive. Is even
but I mean that's for your own personal storage. But I'm thinking about in terms of, we've had it on iTunes where if you buy a movie, once the contract with Apple stops with the manufacturer of the movie or the producer of the movie, they take it off the store. They don't say, hang on, you've bought it, so we'll keep it on the store, but you can access it, but no one else can buy it. They're taking it off, which is completely wrong. Because you've bought that. If they take it off, they should give you 100% refund. In my opinion.
But it weren't in the terms and conditions, was it? So they get away with it.
This is the thing, because they hide things in these 4,000 page terms and conditions that nobody reads.
Yeah, we have. No, because it says there we have the right to remove.
Yeah,
because of blah blah
but
blah.
they shouldn't. Not when you've bought it. And that's what annoys me. And if let's say that you got, I don't know, your console hacked, or somebody who you trusted, you let use your console, and they did something that they shouldn't do on the console, and then they get your account banned, and you lose all of your stuff.
It's happened to people before in the
somebody
past,
we used to do podcasting with, if you remember, because they streamed something that Sony thought that they weren't supposed to do, but they were allowed to do it by their agreement with Blizzard. Not naming any names, but we all know who we're talking about. Yeah,
you in the corner.
Well, no, but,
you listening?
I'm being support.
Yeah, no,
he was allowed. He was allowed.
No, absolutely. It was so wrong.
But this is the point in terms of digital purchases, is that they can take it away like that. And a physical copy, even if they ban your console, you can get another console and install it on another machine. And that's why I think I'm dead set. Even though, my God, I think I would slash my wrists if this happened on Steam because of the amount of games I've got on there. But this is why I am, generally speaking, against it, because I don't trust the companies enough. I don't trust Microsoft, and I don't trust Sony. And especially with my own personal experience with Sony, when they took away my whole, online video library service because I hadn't accessed it in 12 months, saying that they'd emailed me, and I had every email that I had received, and they had lied through the teeth about that. And then I turned around and they said, no, I want it reinstating. They turned around to me and said, well, you have to prove that you've done that, every one of your transactions, that you've got the receipt, you've got the disc, and you've got the code, shows pictures. Who keeps receipts? Seriously. And I had to turn around to them and say, well, if you're going to be like that, I'll go to the Information Commissioner about it. And, you can have a fine because you're breaching my data protection rights. And funnily enough, then they could help me very suddenly. And that's true.
And that's why you still buy a lot of disc
That's why
movies,
when it's a movie I want
to
keep, I'll buy it on disc, because I will not buy it in a digital store. If it's a movie I'm not bothered about.
And I don't blame you for that. At the end of the day, I know we use Netflix as a streaming service, but if there's a film you truly, truly love, you can have you want to own that in your hand.
Exactly. And if it's a game I want to keep, that's what I'll do as well.
So going back to what we were saying earlier, anything else that you think? How about PlayStation Now? Would you like to see that revamped and brought back with the backwards compatibility with PlayStation 1 and 2?
That started off as that.
Yeah, but it's not. But it's not the same, though, is it? It's not a good service.
I think a lot of people would disagree with you there. They have a lot of users on that system, much more than I ever thought that they would have done. And it's not a bad service considering the hundreds of games that are on there.
Well, I was reading some reports where a lot of people weren't happy with it. They thought they could learn lessons from Microsoft on how to bring that service to a better...
Yeah, but the difference is here is that you can start playing one of those games straight away because it streams. Microsoft's one, you have to download to your console, which takes time. But what it does mean is if you lose your internet connection, you can still play it offline, as long as your console's connected recently. Which is fair enough. It's two different ways of approaching the same problem. But I think streaming services, if the cloud-based computing will be the death of the console.
Yeah, I'd say discless consoles. I think that'd be a bold move to do that. I mean, you still have your different SKUs anyway. But I like to use my Xbox as a 4K Blu-ray player.
I was going to say, I think that if they do discless consoles, I think that is a complete lack of recognition that the majority of people use it also as a media player, either CDs, DVDs, or Blu-rays.
Yeah, well, we'll see.
But I'm hoping I'm hoping one thing on the PlayStation 5, a bigger battery on the controller. One that doesn't last about 7 hours, but instead lasts 24. Because I know what people will say. Well, you just plug it in when you're finished. Yeah, but I have to remember to do that. Whereas the Xbox One, I can charge it once a week and I can use it the whole week for hours and hours each day and not have to worry about recharging it. Having said that, though, it probably normally, as the PlayStation controller does, still die in the middle of the most crucial point in the game. It chooses that moment. But it's one of them things, isn't it? It's just like the Destiny, the operating system update this week. I was playing Destiny, literally finished a game of Gambit, didn't even see what rewards I got because it just came up, you've got an update. So I hope for better controls over when you're required to install an update as well. I know that you can set it up to download it on a night or whatever, but I don't like to leave my console on all the time. So
Okay.
Last question. Nicky Wilson, who do you want as the next Batman now that the best Batman of all time, Michael Keaton, he's put Affleck. That's weird. Has quit. And what would you do to fix the DC Universe movies?
Well, there's a lot of... I'm just looking at the top 15 people to play Batman, and some of them I'm not too keen on.
Yeah.
But I tell you what, as you're a fan of The Walking Dead, how about Jeffrey D. Morgan? Really? Why not? He could be psycho enough, couldn't he?
To be quite honest, I think that he would be a much better Batman villain. Or, given his age, Alfred.
No, he doesn't look that bad. What about Keanu Reeves?
Again, I think he's a little bit too old.
Idris Elba? He's touted for everything these days.
Yeah, evidently he's also touted to be the Queen of England as well.
Yeah, I know.
No.
Okay, Josh Brolin.
Remind me.
He's got a good square jaw, actually. He was in No Country for Old Men, if you remember that movie. Okay, you have to Google him. Ryan Gosling.
Too effeminate.
Okay. I can never say his surname. Jake Gyllenhaal.
I can't think of who he is.
He played in that disaster movie that's with all the water and that in the sort of 2012, I think it might have been. I think he was in that. Top of my head.
No, what about Carl Urban?
No, because I think he's going to do another. Isn't he going to be doing another superhero type character? No, well,
maybe. It's been touted about, but I think Carl Urban, he'd be good.
Actually, who's just recently been? Who was the guy that was in the Twilight movies?
He looks more recently? Like Robin to me. What about Anson Mount?
Who's he?
Pike.
Remind me.
From Discovery.
How about Jason Isaacs? He could pull it off.
Yeah. Colin Farrell.
Do you think he has to be? Do you think he needs to be
Eric
British?
Bana?
Yeah. I mean, it's funny how Batman has gone over the years. But what about someone that's really famous for something else? Obviously, what about Stephen Amell? Amell, shall I say? Can I pronounce his surname?
Stephen who?
Amell. Arrow.
Yeah. I'm trying to think who he is, to be honest.
Well, Arrow.
Oh,
in the TV series.
Sorry.
Sorry, right.
Brain's gone.
So,
yeah, I think he could, but would he be allowed to because he's a Yarrow?
Yeah. Here's a long outsider. How about Clint Eastwood? He'd have a Magnum down his pocket.
Yeah, you can imagine him, saying to the Joker, couldn't you? Do you feel lucky?
Go ahead, make my day. Well, actually, my favourite. What about Michael Keaton? Bring him back
as an older Batman, like a weathered one.
Yeah.
In a matter of fact, that if that guy on Twilight, who I think should be Robin rather than Batman, was like the Robin who replaced Batman in the comic storyline, and Michael Keaton played the weathered old Batman, that would work. You understand what I mean? So it's that sort of like he's training Robin up to be Batman kind of thing. Yeah, Stephen Amell, I could imagine he's got the jaw, hasn't he?
He had, and he's got a sort of look to him.
Yeah, you can imagine him.
Get rid of that beard he's got at the minute because he's in prison.
Yeah, possibility, but I have to admit, more I think about it now, the more I think Carl Urban, because we know that he can do that sort of like jaw bit from Judge Dredd. Do you know what I mean? So Carl Urban for Batman. No.
What about Tom Hardy?
No, don't rate him at all. Besides that, he's Bane.
Sorry,
what was that? Take the mask off. Can't understand you. Take your sleep apnea.
Tom Hardy, who played Bane, played Batman.
Take your sleep apnea mask off. Yeah.
Oh, I think that's enough anyway. It's time we went, isn't it? It's 10 o'clock.
Sounds good. Okay.
Can I just finish on a high note for you? Who do you think got Best Actor in the BAFTAs?
Rami Malek. Yeah.
Of course he did. So
it is because his portrayal of Freddie Mercury was great.
Yeah, it's just advertising it in Sky Movies now, so it's on the Sky store, so it'll be coming shortly. So I'll go.
I mean, I know it's not historically accurate.
It's just a bit of fun.
But it's as a question we had last time. It's a dramatisation, with artistic license.
I shouldn't have said this now because we'll be here all night now. Come on, that's enough for now.
But there's that bit where he's the bit that's in the rain. If you've seen the movie, you'll know what I mean. It's fantastic. Well, I think he's fantastic in how he portrays that, and he's just whole portrayal of Freddie Mercury. I think he nailed it. Absolutely nailed it. And I never rated him as an actor because I didn't like Mr. Robot. So
no.
Okay. Do you want to do your contact?
So Twitter @Stevo07, PSN ID is the real Stevo07, Xbox gamertag is Steve007, and email Steve07@popculturegamers.co.uk.
Even though he still doesn't check his emails on there.
I do. We've got to sort that issue out. It's been a big problem with that, I must admit. Yeah. It's been a bit of a nightmare, but we need to, between you and me, sort that one out. Anyway.
Myself, if you just look for HERJ UK on absolutely everything, Twitter, YouTube, PSN, Xbox Live, Steam, Origin, EA, whatever it is, Ubisoft Store, Ultraviolet. Yeah, it's on there as well. And also, if you want to get in contact with the show, just email podcast@popculturegamers.co.uk. You can also join our Facebook group of Pop Culture Gamers. Don't forget, you can also visit our website, which is popculturegamers.podbean.com. If you would like to help us out and support the show, then you can just give us a donation at our Patreon. Not that anybody has taken this up so far, but at Pop Culture Gamers Patreon. But we're going to mention it anyway, because hopefully one day people might realise that we actually do have to pay for this podcast to actually exist. Yes, for this free podcast, there's no such thing as a free lunch. And also, don't forget, if you would like to support us for Gameblast 19, then please visit Just Give a Nut for Pop Culture Gamers, and you can find us there as well. Yeah,
actually, I reckon if you were going to put something on Patreon, I would rather you put it onto that.
Yeah, so would I.
First time round.
So would I, because it's important. Okay,
absolutely.
So that's it for another week. Steve will be hosting next week, and until then, it's a goodbye from me.
And good night from him.
Good night.
Good night.
You are about to witness history in the making.